And now on Who's Views, it's time for the latest headlines with JT and the Whotastic panel.
Right, so here we go again then. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Who's Views. This is Headlines. It's Sunday, the 15th of December, 2024. Hope you are all well. Lovely to see you all. Come on into the chat. They're all quite friendly. If you're watching us, yes, come and tell us about what your views are in this Headlines edition, because we've got lots as ever to talk to you about. Oh, it's another packed one. And I can't wait to get into all of this. Because have you heard? RTD, of course, is out there, not only talking about Christmas, he has mentioned Series 2. Could that possibly be the last series of Doctor Who in its current form? I'm certainly hoping so, quite frankly. We've also got Nicola Coughlin, who's been doing the rounds too. She's recently been on the Graham Norton show. She's also featured in the Radio Times. And we've got some stuff about Moffat. And of course, yes, The Savages is being animated. What are your opinions on that? We're going to be looking at that very soon. Quite frankly, I don't care anymore. Am I the only one? I'm really not excited about it at all. Anyway, let's get on with the show. As ever, I am joined by these two. Ho, 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 indeed. To Third Doctor Ian and to Paul. Hello.
Hello there.
Hello. Here we are again then, gentlemen. Off we go.
Yeah, strap in. Like I said, strap in. You know, you get that one wrong and say on instead, and you're in a whole world of trouble.
I'm a big fan of Family Guy.
Yes. It's great to see everybody joining us in the chat. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Headlines. This is your Headlines. And I want to say, as usual, a huge thank you to everyone that's been getting in touch this week, not just by email, but by comments as well. Thanks to our Box of Delight show that we did earlier in the week, which was a real... I really enjoyed that. Really enjoyed talking about 40 years of the Box of Delights. And we did a review of that this week. So I want to say a huge thank you to Ray Teasdale and his mum. Nice to see you both. Thank you so much for sending us a comment. To Matty D7S, I love to be. To Theodore Benton, to Constable Hansy, Captain Borsak, the Happy Werewolf, Dubsteps SI. Very 90s, that. Dubsteps SI. I love that. To Triple Jazz Musical 1883, Castellan Spandex.
He should have been that character, or she
should have been.
I
love that. Yes. And now here's Castellan Spandex, who will commit you to To Checkley D, to Problem Being, to Mark Greaves, to Simon L, to Mark Gibson, to Shempmeister, to Jane Evans, to Ronald Sapp, to Sean Cryer. Big hugs to Sean Cryer as well. And thank you for that really lovely message you left us on that. Sean's going through a bad time at the moment with a loss of a family member. But big hugs to you, Sean. We're all here for you as well. To Jules Sherwood, Captain 1701W. Yes, and thank you so much for all that. Lovely to get all your messages. As ever, if you want to get in touch, you can anytime you want. whosviews1@gmail.com, and I will get back to you as soon as I can. whosviews1@gmail.com. And of course, you can also leave us comments underneath the show or at the side of the show or wherever it's going to be. Can't they, guys?
They can.
Yes,
indeed.
they can indeed.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
I see. I'm just started off bowled over straight away. Digby's got us straight away. JT there.
Is this Digby Strawbridge by any chance?
It is Digby Strawbridge. What an absolute scholar and a gent. 20 quid super chat. Wow.
Well, let's read that out then. Thank you so much, Digby. Lovely to see you. Evening, JT. Evening, panel. Evening, lovely people in the chat. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to you all, and to you as well.
Yeah.
And just to let you know as well, in case you're wondering, because I have had a few emails, guys. Yeah, we're going to be here around and about through the Christmas season. More on that next week. We're going to be telling you more about our plans. So come and join us then for that one. But thank you for that, Digby. Really good of you. Michael's with us as well. Let's have a look and see why we're doing that. Who's in the chat with us? Michael's here to say, have you heard? Yes, I have. Paul Stenterford is here. Good evening, panel. I hope everyone is well.
Evening.
We are.
Yeah. Bill's with us. Hello, Bill. Nice to see you. Richard is saying Russell T. Desperate. Oh, there's lots more coming up on that one. Gosh, he's everywhere at the moment, isn't he? Dougie's with us. Hello, Dougie. It's good to see you. Rick's with us. Adrian is with us as well. Adrian James, nice to see you, Adrian. Good evening, everyone. He's saying, well, good evening. And Richard Hussey is reminding us that the big day itself, Christmas Day, is a week on Wednesday. Oh, I know. Don't remind me, please. Please don't. I'm not quite ready yet. Oh, look, nice to see Noodle Arms with us as well. And of course, with the devotions, it's Sheila B saying, hey up, folks, those tricks. Oh, that's sort of Yorkshire then. I'm not quite sure. Wow.
Hey up, Sheila, we're all right.
Hello to the Golden Age Geek. There's lots of you. And Matt, the Silent Wee Music King, is saying, you misspelt Coughlin. It's an A, not an I. Don't care. Don't care. What a stupid name. Change it to Smith, Nicola. God.
It identifies as an I, apparently.
It does.
So,
it really does. You know, I double checked that blooming name all the same because I thought it was Coughlin and then it was Coughlin. I don't care, Matt. Don't give a toss. Let's have a look. Bill Lowry is saying the last series in its present form. Fingers crossed. I'm getting a feeling. There's a song about that. I can't sing it. Look at this from Domgo, the Dream Team panel. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Yes,
How lovely is that? Stephen Braddock is with us as well. Stephen, thank you for your picture. I really appreciate that. And I love that one. That's the Muppets Christmas Carol on his indent now. So thank you for that.
Lovely. One of my favourite films.
We're going to be talking about this very shortly, Andy. Andy Gledall's here with us saying all the animations are crap compared to the TARDIS Time Girl's efforts. Well, we talked about the TARDIS Time Girl last week, didn't we, on the show then? So we really did. Hugh Janus is with us saying howdy. Hello, lovely to see you. Oh, it's so great to see everybody. This is one of the reasons I love coming onto the show on a Sunday, because I know that lots of people are going to be with us and we're going to have a good gossip, basically, aren't we?
Certainly are.
Indeed. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That was Marjorie there. Hello, Marjorie. And Stephen Braddock. I love the Box of Delight show, especially because my theory about the time reset is now confirmed. We've got Raymond here and Cara. Hello, Cara. Yes, I'm sorry I missed your review. To be honest, I forgot. Sigh. Does anyone else notice some similarities between the Box of Delights and the Dark is Rising books? Well, yeah, absolutely. I think it's inevitable, really, when you're dealing with all these fantasy things, Cara. And these were all the books I read as a boy. You know, I loved all those books, absolutely passionate about them. And I didn't mind that there were certain similarities. But I suppose when you're looking at everything, there's bound to be, isn't there? Oh, look at this. Dubstep's Sigh is my handle on here, JT, but it only comes up when I comment for some reason. Oh, it's Simon L. Oh, well, there you go. Thank you for letting us know. Well, let's crack on. It's great to see you all. And look at this. Oh, I've got a super sticker. I've got a super sticker. I love my super stickers. Thank you for that one, Paul Thomas Ashworth. Giving me a super sticker there. I don't know why they make me laugh, guys.
Want you to keep it up.
Yes, it does. There are other medicines available. Outrageous bit, but thank you for that, mate. We are going to indeed. We're going to crack on now with our first story, and it would be rather amiss of us as well not to start off by mentioning this fella and what a ripe old age he was. Yes, it's this chap before. We've mentioned him before on the show, haven't we? Just a few months ago, we were talking about him in our Death of the Daleks review. We were also mentioning him here on Headlines when he reached the grand old age of 104. I'm very sad to hear, of course, in the last few days that Mr. Arnold Yarrow, best known as one of the most benevolent aliens in Doctor Who, i.e. Bilal from Death to the Daleks, has passed on at 104 years old. 104. My goodness. What an achievement, Mr. Yarrow. Goodness me.
Fabulous. Absolutely fabulous. I have to say, Bilal is one of my favourite characters, and he plays Bilal so well and so lovable. I just adore him. So God bless you, sir. God bless you.
Yeah. One of my favourites too. One hell of an innings. And I just hope he's at peace now. Real sad.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. It's very sad, but yeah, you have to go, wow, don't you? 104. And of course, he's gone down in Doctor Who history as as the oldest supporting actor, as if not actual actor, to have appeared in the show. 104 years old. It's quite incredible to think that, isn't it? I noticed as well that a lot of the obituaries for him were very concise. They mentioned things like Softly Softly, Barlow at Large, and they were talking about Crown Court, as well as Doctor Who, of course. And of course, I didn't know he'd done EastEnders as well. So he was quite famous to another set of people for EastEnders. I didn't know that.
Wow.
No, well, I don't watch it.
Neither.
Well, he's had an illustrious career over 104 years. That's amazing, isn't it? Really. You know?
Well, yeah. Well, he did things like what else they were looking at? They were looking at Armchair Theatre and all these wonderful the Play of the Weeks. Amazing stuff, really. If you look at all of his material, it was fantastic. But I thought it was nice to see that, and Doctor Who was very much in the mix.
Yeah.
And there were a couple of the papers there that actually put in a similar picture to that one I've got there of Bilal, as well
I love
as
the
who he
fan
was.
theory. The fan theory that he would make a lovely companion. Could you imagine? Could you imagine that? That'd be superb.
Yeah, another one of those companions we were robbed of
Yeah,
through the history of Doctor
Yeah.
Who. There.
And we got Jeremy instead.
I wish
It's the same kind of time, isn't it? To be fair, yeah.
Let's not go there.
No, let's not. Yeah.
But please, no, let's not do. A lot of you in the chat saying the same things as well. Look at this, 104. What an age to reach as Legion of James. Mudcrab is saying Vale. We've got Domgo also saying 104. What an achievement, isn't it? Just Bill 104. That's a great innings. I mean, yeah. And Andy, R.I.P. that man from Andy Gledhill. Absolutely. What else we got here? Matt also saying to us 104, about the same age as JFK's mother. Really? So I'm not up on American people or politics because it really doesn't hit me. But that's, I mean, Paul Stenterford saying to us here, R.I.P. Arnold Yarrow, such a lovely actor. He'll be missed by many. And it's those many friends and family that we send our respects out from Who's Views here, from all of us on Who's Views right now, including all of our friends in the chat. 104. My goodness me. Really, real big achievement. Lots of you in the chat saying so many lovely things. Rest in peace, Bilal. Brilliantly played part. Yeah. Marjorie, God rest his soul, 104 years old. A life truly lived. You would hope so, wouldn't you? Yeah. He's up there with John now, says Domgo. Can you imagine? They'll be in the bar.
Having a pint. There we are.
Having a pint, yeah. Or maybe a wee dram. R.I.P. Arnold. You were part of my Doctor Who childhood, says Stephen Braddock. Stephen's also telling us he played Dot Cotton's boyfriend. Did he really?
Oh, really? That's interesting. Yeah.
I know a Doctor Who connection then. Because, of course, June was in the Time Warrior.
In the same series. In the same season.
Yeah.
With Liz. Both of them pals of Liz.
Yeah.
Well, oh, I love that. That's nice, isn't it? And Noodle Arm's saying, quite rightly, he will live forever in hearts and minds. Yes, absolutely. And the fact is, with Death of the Daleks, it's always going to be there. Yeah. Always by your physical media. Raymond was pointing out he was born the same year as John. Wow.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Gosh, can you imagine?
That means John being 104 as well if he was still with us. My God, that's incredible. Yeah.
It is incredible, isn't it, really? Yeah, but thank you so much, everybody, for the chat. He's what can we say about it? Amazing. Mr. Yarrow, thank you. Amazing performance. You stayed with us all these years after the actual 4 episodes. Well done. Congratulations. And God bless you, sir.
God bless you.
Yeah, absolutely. Testimony to his acting skill that we remember that character so fondly.
And in that fantastic costume, he walked through that costume brilliantly, didn't he?
Yeah.
Superb.
Yeah. If you want to know more, by the way, of what we thought about Death of the Daleks, you can go back to our Who's Views Reviews playlist after the show, or in the week, or over Christmas. And you can look at what we thought about Death of the Daleks as we reviewed it only this year. How fantastic was that? Okay, then. So let's crack on again, because, yes, we'll move on from that. And we'll move on right now to the exciting news. Well, it might be exciting for some of you. I couldn't be bothered. I sort of knew there was going to be one. I wasn't expecting it this week, to be honest. I thought it had passed, and I thought they were going to save it for the new year. But here we go. Yes, the BBC announced that, The Savages is coming to DVD, Blu-ray, Steel. I'm so not interested, honestly. It's coming to Blu-ray, Steelbook, and Yeah, I mean, go on, guys. What do you think about this? Come on.
Well, I think it's interesting. It's called animation. It should be called stationery, some of it, to be honest. It doesn't show you much in the trailer. It's like an amalgamation of a few clips. There's no actual dialogue delivered. It's not very inspiring at all. And it's like the Underwater Menace stuff. It's just not very exciting, is it? It's very flat looking, I have to say.
I feel gloriously unmoved, really.
Oh, so it's not just me. I thought it was just me because when I went
No.
online to look at the response to this, there was an awful lot of, oh yeah, it's another one coming along. It's another one. But for me, it's still not what I would call animation.
No. It's
Let's have a look at it, shall we? While you're talking, Ian, let's have a look at this. Go on.
It just doesn't seem that. I mean, come on.
Is that William Hartnell?
That's William Hartnell, yeah.
Oh dear.
It's funny, if you've seen the telly snaps of any of these episodes, they're far more interesting than this animation.
And let's face it, it's not one of the best, is it? From what we know, even the Target book was a real hard slog to get through. Everybody, for those of us who read the Target book when it was published, it was a real hard.
It wasn't a lot of pages, was it?
Oh.
No.
That was in the days of the standard 126, 128 pages books, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
I mean, I've listened to the audio a couple of times, and it's quite an interesting story. It's an unusual story. Some interesting, some interesting incidental music in it, but it's not very memorable. That's the only thing I'd say.
That's what I was going to say. I've listened to the audio twice, I think. I can't remember either of it because it was one of those. It would just, if we had it all, it would be one of those you wouldn't watch, and it'd be one of those things we would leave until the end if we're reviewing. You know, one of those stories there. We've got Dirty Hamble. Dirty Hamble with us saying that looks like Michael Crawford.
It does a bit, yeah.
I see what you're saying.
Maybe someone could Photoshop a berry on Hartnell's head. That'd be quite interesting. And give him a Mac. That'd be quite nice.
Also, Garbage is saying, I thought that was the Silurian from the Christmas special. Stop being naughty.
You do wonder if anybody that's drawn these has actually seen a photograph of William Hartnell. You know,
obviously not.
They just don't seem like they have at all. And what the hell is that coming out of Stephen's trousers? Oh no, it's an act. What? Sorry, it looked like there was something coming out of his trousers.
Yeah, there's something green there, but I'm not sure what it is.
That is unfortunately staged.
I know he's carrying a gun, but it looks highly suspect. I have to say,
it looks like a luminous green strap on. Let's be honest. Come on.
It's on this point here that look at this. It's on this point here that Rick Storm says was the Captain Pugwash style animation for 59 years ago is better than this.
Yeah.
I've said it before and I'll say it again, everybody. Why are they bothering? Why are they bothering to do this? I mean, is it just for the ka-ching? This, by the way, comes out on Blu-ray Steelbook, please, and DVD on the 24th of March. It's available to pre-order for you now. If you are interested in this, please let me know in the chat because I just think I can't be bothered. For me, they've over-egged the pudding now, and I'm not interested in any of it because it just doesn't make any sense. It doesn't look good. And this isn't animation to me. There's that thing you were talking about there. It looks like, I don't know what that would be in the show. I'm not really up on this story.
I think it's a gun from the story that the soldiers have, I think.
Looks like a great big microphone. Tell us, Mr. Taylor, what do you think of Arthur D and what he's doing to Doctor Who? I don't know.
Football results.
I think that's Jano there, who's Frederick Yeager, who plays Jano.
It's probably Freddie Yeager. Yeah,
it does look a wee bit like him. You can see him a little bit, but it looks more like Freddie Yeager than it does Peter Purves, I have to say. But
I don't know what to I don't know what to say, so I'm going to go to the chat. I don't know what to say about it. Look, lots of you in the chat saying to us what we're talking about here. Thank you. Andy Gledhill is saying laugh. He's lol. Yes, thank you very much. What else we got here? Paul Stenford is saying, so we're finally getting the Savages animated episodes. I really don't like the animation style. It isn't half as good as stuff LZ and Steve Skinner are doing at the moment. Yes, and we, as I say, we covered that on the show last week. By the way, to the Skinners, I did reach out last week. If you want to look at the email, to the messages, and you're very welcome to come on and talk to us and the Who viewers about what we've got there. Look, we've got another super chat. Thank you very much. I'll come to that in just a second. But yeah, I mean that stuff that we looked at last week,
Yeah, it's head and shoulders above this. Yeah.
Isn't it just? I mean, what bad timing, or was it? As I said at the top of this article, I wasn't expecting this announcement for the animation of the Savages to come out at this point. I thought, no, they're over it now. It's going to be quiet. They're going to concentrate on Joy to the World, blah, blah, blah. Then we get all the fuss and the huge effect last week of the popularity of those episodes. And then suddenly this is dropped.
Could be a coincidence, but I doubt it. Yeah.
It could be, couldn't it? But could it be? Oh,
yeah. But the thing about these animations are the past, I think it was Galaxy 4, it was Celestial Toymaker. Now this, they're all done in the same style. Underwater Menace, all done in the same style. And it's just really dull. Not very nice, you know.
It's not attractive at all. I mean, Scooby-Doo's better than this. My Scooby-Doo, the 70s
God,
Scooby-Doo.
the 69 one, yeah. Where are you, Scooby-Doo? That's the one, yeah.
I mean, it's just, I mean, come on. Heretic OSJC, I won't lie, I'm happy about more animations. Well, good for you. I'm glad you are. Regardless if people like them or not, the fact is they're being done is better than nothing. I'll grab the steelbook for the collection. I want to see the black and white one. Yeah, that's the point. The other point. So you can get a color version, you can get a black and white version, as is standard now. I probably won't get this until it's about £3 in a sale in the next 5 years. I'm quite happy to wait for this because at some point I know they're going to bring out an alternative version with AI.
Yeah.
And I'd rather
that's what they're doing. They're going to run through all these as quick as they can, finish them off, then do them all again, AI, and we'll pay again. That's what happens.
Well, I won't. Yeah. I really won't. And those things will be special because they're waiting for that bit where the AI is going to be. I mean, look at what's going on just now. We're going to be talking about AI a little bit later on in this show as well, everybody. So stay with us because the world's going crazy for it, isn't it? And I'm so impressed. Even Daryl Joyce is doing some great stuff with AI now. It really shows you how an animation can work. If you haven't seen Daryl Joyce's stuff, Garbage will put the link into that. Go and look at that at some point later on. Great stuff from Daryl. That's how an animation should look for me. Absolutely. Thank you for that, Garbage. Nice to see you. Thank you, Heretic. We've also got Julianne. Hello, Julianne. How are you, gorgeous? The fans produce much better animation than this. It's flat even for 2 dimensions. And yet last week when we were talking about the Skinners, they had let it be known that they had met with BBC Studios and BBC Studios had said that us, the fans, don't want that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Well, we want this stuff instead. They think we're thick. Honest to God, they think we're stupid.
They're out of touch. They're just out of touch. They've been out of touch probably forever, really, haven't they? When has the BBC really tapped in to what the fans want? When is I think they probably, when they did the 10th anniversary special, they probably hit just in the right
peaked
spot.
Then is what you're saying.
Pretty much. Yeah, pretty much. Because the 10th was way better than the 20th. But just doing that without having the internet that they could use to gauge demand was probably quite a clever thing to do. But after that, they've never really. They couldn't even cash in properly on Dalek Mania, could they? In the 60s, they had to.
Well, to be honest, they weren't there at the time, were they? I mean, it was Dalek Mania in the 60s that created Enterprises, which is now Studios. And it was thanks to the Daleks. So they've got a lot to be grateful to Doctor Who, the Daleks, and Terry Nation, and Ray Cusick for, to be quite honest. Yeah. But no, we're getting a lot of people in the chat asking us about this, and some of them are disagreeing with us, which is fantastic. Digby Strawbridge, my God, they made Hartnell look like Sheldon from The Big Bang Theory. Nibbles is saying to us, "Oh, BBC just hired Daryl already."
Yeah.
His latest Talent of Weng Chiang one is so atmospheric.
Yeah.
You just look at that and you're there, aren't you? You are just in it. And I can't wait to see his Tomb of the Cybermen one.
It's going to be fabulous. I just know it is. I just know it is. Thank you so much to Mark Greaves for the super chat. Really appreciate it. And he's coming to we're going to be coming into this a bit shortly, but he's saying to us, "Hi gang, I had to tell you how surprised I was that the one show, BBC's The One Show, didn't ask RTD my question. Will you ever admit that you're single-handedly destroying one of the greatest franchises in TV history?" Didn't they? Didn't they?
That's very remiss of them, I have to say.
It really is. But I'll tell you something. If he was on this show, you could ask that.
Yeah.
he wouldn't cope, would he? Let's be honest.
Well, cope, please. Domgo is saying, "I like the classic animations." Well, that's good. What do you like about them? Because I just don't see the attraction of them, to be quite honest. And John Mason is with us. Hi, John. I'll give this one a go because I loved the Macra Terror. Right? Okay. I haven't watched them because I can't be bothered with them. I look at them, and I say, I can't be bothered. I'll get them when they're £3.
Yeah. I don't mind some of them. I think the early ones were quite good, particularly Invasion. I wish they stuck with that style.
Oh,
Yeah,
I love that. I love that.
Yeah, that's good. Some of them are quite good, but the most recent ones, I mean, Fury from the Deep and Abominable Snowmen, don't get me started about them. They are bloody awful, honestly. Yeah.
It's such a shame that we lost Culture of Horror, because I reckon they would have kept going. I know it was expensive as well, but they was good quality. I could watch that animation. I thought that was good. And I didn't mind the Moonbase either.
Yeah, Moonbase got atmospheric. It's quite nice, yeah.
Yeah, the Moonbase I got through, but this sort of stuff, I look at it, Who Viewers, and I just think, oh, it's not for me. I'm not an animation person anyway. It has to be really good stuff for me to watch it when it comes to animation, you know, and this looks like cheap, tacky nonsense. Can't be bothered. Stephen Braddock is saying The Savages looks terrible. The backgrounds are bland and flat and featureless. They've changed a lot of the sets. Of course they have. Hartnell, in inverted commas, looks awful. And Stephen has a chin like Dick Dastardly. Help! Help! That was brilliant, that, wasn't it? Do you remember that on a Tuesday? Mudcrab. Okay, that looks low effort. I like some of Patrick's animated 3D sets with 2D characters. Had a style of its own, but this looks low effort. Yeah, and I wasn't interested in the trailer as well. I've watched it twice now, and the animation just takes me out of what's going on that. Watching 4 episodes of it, I don't know. Happy Man 050, hello, nice to see you. I would rather watch The Savages animated on Christmas Day than Joy to the World. Well, that's a shame, because you're not getting it till March, so you know, that's not going to happen. Domgo is there. Well, at least Gatwa isn't in it. That's always a plus point. Oh, you're so cheeky.
We don't think Gatwa's in it, but let's face it.
He may be a little cameo. Yeah.
That's what they do. Yeah. That's the other reason I didn't like whichever one it was. Was it the Faceless ones where they put a picture of the Jodie Whittaker master in?
Tasha Dewan. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. There's something that really bugs me about these animations. Why are they in color? Because who's that aimed at? Because as a completist and I have to be absolutely spot on and accurate about how it looks. I don't want it in color. I want it in black and white, because that's how it was. So is this the mythical audience getting the color version? Is that what it is?
Yes,
is it?
Yes, of course it is. They're doing the 2 versions. They're doing one for the fans like us who want it in black and white, who want to see it in black and white. But it's exactly like they're doing the Daleks and the War Games in color, isn't it? It's for the new mythical audience, because they want them to go and buy it. And are they going to go and buy it at the prices they want for these things? I don't think so. Not all of them. Not all 5 of them. Anyway.
That many.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. We've got Charlie Silvestri. Hello, Charlie. Nice to see you. Which season of Troughton has the most complete or near complete stories? Can we please get that on Blu-ray finally? It is season 6. Please, I'd rather have that. Invasion, War Games, etc. story missing. Because that I'd buy, he continues. Well, yes, season 6 is the nearest to completed, isn't it?
Yeah. Because it's only 5 episodes of Space Pirates. If you count the animation for Invasion, which kind of completes the Invasion, you got 5 missing Space Pirates, and that's it. Which isn't bad, really.
And we've heard, of course, that Space Pirates is in the pipeline.
Oh, is it really? Oh, I didn't know that.
Well, maybe we haven't heard that. Maybe I've just said something I shouldn't have said. But
tell us more.
That's all I know. Because a couple of years ago, I saw a list of things that were being worked on, and The Savages was in there, The Underwater Men.
But I think if we get to season 6, we'll have to wait another 2 years, because they have to milk the colour version of the War Games first. So,
Yes, absolutely. Dirty Hamble is also saying, when are they releasing the Budgie Smugglers? Oh, well, hasn't Ncuti Gatwa already done that, love?
Yeah. That was the giggle, that one, wasn't it?
I think it
and
was.
2 senses, in fact. Yeah. So,
and we've got a point here from Bill, who says the problem is we buy the animations as completists or to support the series, and then we get subpar material like this. That's a great point, because that's exactly why they're doing it. And yet there's better animations, as a lot of you are pointing out in the chat, from the fans, from other sources. And I just get this feeling personally that they just look at Doctor Who fans and go cash cow, and it's not as much as it used to be, because a lot of us have left. We're not buying all the new crap. So it's things like the season Blu-ray box sets in the 2 formats, limited and standard, and the animations that I think are keeping them going.
Yeah,
you know, I don't know. It's just a theory I have. And then they treat us like crap. Go and touch grass. This isn't for you. Oh, you won't like the edited version of colorized version of this. And I still think it's basically colorizing the 60s episodes in their entirety properly, without edits, and putting them out onto DVD, Blu-ray, and Steelbooks, because then we would all go buy them, because we are completists and we would be interested in seeing them as broadcast, but in colour. That would be quite interesting. I don't know, but yeah, I mean,
I've been interested to see the chart figures for the Savages on Amazon or HMV and see what the sales are like. That'd be interesting.
Well, if you and Ian talk to yourselves for a couple of minutes, I will tell you, because let's get into this right now, and I will look into it for you as we are live on the show, because I didn't check before the show, but I can do right now, and let's get into it. So if you two just chat to the viewers.
Because I'm interested, Ian, whether or not this actually does very well, because if we're talking about fan interest or not, whether they will buy it, because, and I'm saying this as a fan myself, that we have been brainwashed into buying everything with the Doctor Who logo on it when we can, you know? And that idea of having an AI version down the line, 2 days down the line and buy it twice, that happens all the time. Look at the VHSs, you know, or the Target books, etc., etc. We've done it many, many times, haven't we? So.
Well, we've always done it, haven't we? In those wilderness years, you know, the books, we'd buy the books, we'd buy the magazines, we'd obsessively wait for the TV movie and then buy all the post TV movie memorabilia that came out about that. And when they were doing the other animation with Richard E. Grant's Doctor and everything else, Schalke, we'd support that madly on our dial-up modems and things like that, because we wanted to support the series. The difference now is the series hates us and has said it hates us and doesn't want us. But the problem is the knob rockets in charge do not understand that it doesn't have anybody else and it's lost us. So it's going to suffer, and the only way it's going to keep our buying things is to make them of a certain quality. Because we are quite discerning, you know. We'll call out tat if it's tat, and I mean, I love Pertwee, but if they put some Pertwee tat out, I will call it tat, you know. And it's I just think it's just showing complete contempt, really, that they can't be bothered. They can't
take it for granted, I think, is the best way of putting it. I think,
I've said for years now they've taken the fandom for granted as well, and hence why they can churn something out and we will go and buy it. And in answer to your question, Paul, and also to tie in with Bill's point there, people are buying it. I can tell you that the Savages Blu-ray in the Amazon chart is number 3 in box sets for DVD and Blu-ray, number 5 in drama for DVD and Blu-ray, and number 5 in the science fiction DVD and Blu-ray chart. The DVD version is number 4 in the box sets, number 7 in drama, and number 7 in science fiction DVD and Blu-rays. And the Steelbook is number 1 in Steelbooks, number 1 in the box sets for DVD and Blu-ray, and number 1 in the drama charts for DVD Blu-ray. So obviously the Steelbook is the big seller. Everybody's decided they're going to get all this on Steelbooks.
That's not bad for a nearly 6-year-old story that's completely missing and it's animated, isn't it?
That's fantastic.
Incredible. Yeah, isn't it? Yeah.
And it's still beating the new crap.
Yeah.
There's never any doubt it'd do that.
Yeah. Marjorie is saying Sharda had better animation, and Bedweir is with us. Thanks, Marjorie. And hello to Bedweir. Shame they'll have to re-release the Savages DVD when we find more episodes. He's convinced they're going to find all these missing episodes.
Yeah. He's keeping that to himself again. I'll speak to you later, Mr. Gullidge. Yeah.
Agreeing with us is Dalek High, who said, I would love our very own Daryl to do all the Doctor Who animations. Please make it happen. His work is stunning. I just don't know why. I do know. I have this theory, as I said on last week's show. It's all with their own, with their like-minded, their chums, isn't it? It's job for the boys here. You don't see, like in the case of the Skinners, you know, they're not approved. They're not part of these people that are going to get the work and get the money, which is such a shame. They're very close shop. You have to be part of the clique, I think, to get the work. Now, that's my personal opinion. I'm not going to apologize for it, because I look at it and just think, oh, it's them again. Oh, it's him again. Oh, it's him again. Oh, it's her again.
The thing about bringing someone else on board, they're always going about contractual issues and blah, blah, blah. But if they buy the people out and buy the material, then it's theirs, and there shouldn't be an issue with releasing it on any format they want to if they get the contract right. So why they can't bring someone in like them, and rather than starting from scratch, which they'll inevitably do, and all that what's already been done, which is such a waste of time, doesn't it?
Yeah. Totally. lots of you in the chat, as usual, with your opinions on this. Keep it coming. Noodle Arms is saying, well, Robert was saying there, Robert Payne, hi, Robert. Primitive cartoons drawn by people who can't do likenesses of actors. No, thanks. And Noodle Arms, this is a moneymaker and the animation is rubbish. What I'm thinking is if they axe Doctor Who, will they continue to release the Blu-ray collection sets? Yes, they will.
That's all they've got. All they've got.
Yeah.
That's the thing that brings the money in. Yeah.
Yes, they absolutely will. I mean, we saw this last time. Doctor Who ended in '89. It was off for 15 years, and the amount of merchandise the BBC put out was incredible. We had the VHSs, and then on the back of that, almost at the same time, there was a nice little clean handover between VHS and DVD when we all realised we were going to do it again. You know, so the Blu-rays will continue, and they'll farm out. They'll go back and look at anything they can for original Doctor Who, as well as a limited amount of merchandise on the reboot Who, wherever they can, and they'll try and sell it again. Don't worry about that. It will be there. Don't worry about that. Yes, it will be. Paul Stenterford also, I think you're right, JT. These animations have become just a cash grab. Such a shame considering what could be achieved with these missing episodes. Exactly. There's a hell of a lot they can do. And now with AI knocking on our door, and people like Daryl and the Skinners doing some really good stuff, and others as well. You know, it's all there, isn't it? That's what's going to be next for them. I'm sure there is somebody at the BBC sitting in a broom cupboard going, which one of our tick boxing cohorts can actually, our friends there can do this, you know?
Yeah.
Not bothered by Blu-ray savages, says Rick Storm. Will be on a future series release anyway. Do you guys reckon these things will be?
I think they will eventually. They'll have to milk the cost of the original product, but it has to end up on the Blu-ray sets eventually, doesn't it? That would make sense. Yeah.
Yeah. Otherwise, they're just leaving a big gap, aren't they?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, there you go. I hadn't even thought about it, to be honest.
Because if they're trying to plug the gaps, is what they're kind of trying to do, and it's like two different sales: the animation originally, then the whatever season box set happened to be on. You know?
Yeah. I suppose so.
Some of the Troughton will be virtually just animation.
Yeah, well, season 4 particularly, it's just mainly cartoons.
You know, if that's standard though, that this is, I wouldn't buy it. Even on standard, I'd just rather have the gap.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I wouldn't be interested in this sort of stuff. If it was decent animation, the stuff I could possibly watch, or even some of that AI stuff like we've seen with the Skinners, because I really enjoyed the Wheel in Space.
Yeah, so did I. I watched that with the existing episodes, and it was very, very good. Really enjoyed it.
Yeah, good stuff. Raymond is saying to us, it looks terrible in color. Black and white will be the better version. It looks awful compared to Wheel in Space 3D animation. I actually got into it, and I never thought I would do. It's clever, this AI stuff, isn't it? And hello to Mark A. Wright. Nice to see you, Mark. The first Doctor looks different in each animation. They should have chosen a house style at the start and stuck with it. Any box set experience is going to be totally disjointed. That's a great point.
Yeah, I agree totally. Yeah.
That is a great point. Absolutely. So how many people will go from 1 to 1 to 1 on a box set?
Yeah.
For very little money, they could wireframe a very decent Hartnell and use that computer-generated image every single time.
Yeah.
And it would be consistent across the range. They just don't.
They didn't have the foresight to see that this would be a long-term process.
Yeah,
they just thought, we'll do one, that'll be fine, and that'll be it.
You would think that they would, Ian, wouldn't you? You would think
that
they would.
It's the same, though, isn't it? They never do. I think it's very much like with Hartnell. It's like the original Dalek voices, isn't it? They never keep a note of the settings on the modulator, so every damn Dalek voice was different from story to story.
Yeah. And I think, to its credit, I think that's what RTD was trying to do, is trying to make sure that Doctor Who was recognised as a business, a franchise, an entity, because they use the word franchise more about Doctor Who now than ever before. It wasn't originally, because it was a BBC programme. It was a BBC television programme made in-house at the BBC, so it couldn't be a franchise. You know, now it can be because it's independent, but they've still not got it. And he's signing all this stuff off as well. I don't know. It just drives me insane. And John Henson, hello, nice to see you. The new BBC standard of animation is garbage at a high price. Yeah, it is a high price as well, isn't it? As I say, I'm quite happy to wait for these things to come down to £4. And I noticed really that the Power of the Daleks, the second version of that, which I haven't got, has now down to $7.99 in HMV. I'm just going to wait for a little bit longer because I'm sure it'll come down to £5. I really am. That's what I'm doing, John, but it's nice to see you. What else we got here from Paul Stenford? Even the animations done for the original Invasion DVD look far superior to what's being done today. I'd agree with that. I can watch can watch quite happily the Invasion, and we will be reviewing that at some point. I mean, it's going to have to be that version, but I can watch that quite happily and get into it. Yeah.
It doesn't lag at all. For an 8-parter, it does not lag.
I think if the animation works, the reconstructions work well, it really helps lift the story. I mean, the same way that William Space did with the animations that the Skinners did recently, that really lifted the story, made you understand it more and get more out of it. If it's done well, it'll really work well and enhance the story, you know?
Of course it would. Absolutely. And this is what these people don't understand, isn't it? I mean, again, I've said it before, I've said it again, they've got the wrong people in charge of this blooming show now. Yeah. And it's tired, it's not being looked after, it just needs a bit of a rest. And yet, BBC Studios, let's see how when this show comes off the air, and I'm absolutely certain it's coming off the air within the next 2 to 3 years. I'm certain. Coming to that shortly. Who will they get to look after this again? Because they did quite well in the 90s, but all those people, they'll be gone by now. They'll be gone. I mean, at least back then, they had this sort of image, didn't they? They have this branding for Doctor Who. This is Doctor Who. So they could do it now.
Oversaw some of it, didn't he? Because he was kind of
at the beginning.
At the beginning.
Well, the years tapes and stuff like that.
And got it onto kind of like a bit of a level footing. And then, he stepped back and other stuff came in, and the book range started with Virgin and everything, and that grew a momentum of its own.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's simply because when it came to the books and stuff like that, they looked at how much they were making for VHS. They looked at how much were coming through the DVD. Then they looked at how much Virgin was making, and thought, "Oh, we'll have that. We're idiots." But John had always said, "Keep everything in house. Don't farm it out. Keep everything in house." And he was right, of course. But it's just how you do it nowadays. Of course, it's all partnerships, because that's the way the world works now when it comes to media. It's very odd. Hello to Woodhouse 122 with lovely Rory there. I was watching the Star Trek animated series recently, and 50 years later, it's still miles ahead of those pathetic BBC efforts. Yeah, I saw some of that this year on Netflix.
Yeah, and I love the Star Trek animation. It's great. It's lovely. Yeah.
Oh yeah, but it's so easy to do, because if you know the story of Filmation, the people that made it, they use the same frame for He-Man, She-Ra, Tarzan.
Batman, all that kind of stuff.
All the same stuff. So it was beautifully done and very cleverly done, because it was cheap. They just painted a different character over the top of the thing, didn't it? Julie Wendy. Hello, Julie. Taking me back in time, saying Noggin the Nog had better animation.
Oh.
Yes.
Noggin the Nog.
We've touched on Captain Pugwash, if we pardon the expression, already, and that's kind of that's really quite bad, isn't it? It's kind of, and that was quite ahead of its time, But,
and Cara's agreeing with Julie, saying, "Or I've ordered the engine. I've ordered the engine." Oh, I loved all that. Do you remember, just before the big news came on, you'd have that lovely show to round off your children's viewing on the BBC. Great days. If you're outside the UK, you won't have a clue what we're talking about, but it was all good stuff. Trust us.
Go onto YouTube and look at these programs. Are fantastic. Yeah.
And we've got Chris Graham saying, "I had a chat this week with the father of the guy that does the special effects for the classic Blu-rays. I was working in the shop I work in, and he was a customer." Oh, how lovely. So I hope he was well. Did he give you any tidbits, Chris? Let us know here on the show right now. John, yes, Daryl's videos are on YouTube. And if Garbage isn't in the chat to do that for you and let you know where that is, we'll put them into the links later. Okay, but the Mecronons with us saying the Savages has been savaged. I was going to use that as the headline for the thumbnail on this show, and I thought, no, I might get stopped. Somebody might go, "Excuse me." Shempmeister, hello to you. I said earlier, hello to you at the top of the show. It's nice to see you. Thank you for getting in touch this week. And we've got Super John here with us. Nice to see you, Super John. He's still touching grass, everybody. Oh, yes, he is. Gatwa makes an appearance in the War Games in colour. Arg, pardon?
I bet he does. I bet he's one of the other faces for the Doctor when Troughton's choosing his next incarnation. I bet he's tenor.
How can he possibly?
Well, it's like you're saying about the animations putting in Sacha Dhawan and things like that. It's the same kind of thing, They'll do the same thing,
And it is BC editing it. There will be a backlash against that if there is. Is that just a fan rumor or what?
Because they're always right about everything, though, aren't they, JT? They know better than us. They think, "Oh, this is a really good idea," and they go off and get themselves all excited in a dark little room for a while, and then come out and do it.
Now, did you say, JT, that BC had edited it? Isn't that the wrong term to use? I thought it was butchered, wasn't it?
Butchered.
Yeah, well,
So,
allegedly.
Allegedly, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
Other
modern
editors
showrunner,
are available, hopefully. Yeah. So
the modern showrunner, says Mudcrab, believe that if they own the show, they own the fans, and the fans will accept any change out of fear of being kicked out of the fandom. Well, they know full well now that is not the case. They just choose to ignore us, and that's why millions of us have been alienated, and we're not supporting this nonsense now. We are currently on our community tab running a vote, and the very, very simple question is: will you watch the War Games in colour? Yes or no? Very, very simple. Before the show, we'd had 149 votes today. Yes said 35%. No said 65% of Who viewers at this time.
wow,
That's very, very indicative, isn't it?
Mm.
We've got here Craig Dunlop's joining us again. Hello, Craig. If they could take the AI animation used in the recent Spock Kirk goodbye animation and marry that to the Fury from the Deep soundtrack, that would be the best Xmas ever. Again, they're going to have to look at something like that wonderful Spock Kirk thing and look at that and look at what's been done, the time, the money, the production of that thing. And they're going to have to say, we've got our Razor game here. And yet you get something like that. The Star Trek fans are getting that lovely, lovely gift. And we get this.
Yeah. I have to say, the Fury from the Deep animation, as I said earlier, is awful. And I love Fury from the Deep. It's a great story, great atmosphere, but they've spoiled it completely for me now because it's awful.
Yeah.
You know?
I can understand that. I absolutely really can understand that. This is why the other reason I'm not really bothered about it.
You almost want abominable. I mean, we do anyway, don't we? But you almost want Abominable Snowmen, for example, to be found in its entirety, and that would highlight what an absolute joke the animation was.
Yeah,
with Padma Sambhavar levitating at 20 feet in the air and all this rubbish. You know,
there's no excuse. They've got all the telestats for most of these stories, so they've got great reference material. So there's no excuse, really. You know,
not at all.
Yes, but also these people are supposed to be fans.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
they know the stories through the Target book. Some of them may have recollections of watching it. They've got the camera script. They've got the production scripts. They've got all the notes that
they're not fans. They're sycophants of RTD. That's what they are, and they will do whatever he says, regardless of the integrity of the program. That they will sacrifice all of that just to have their faces close to a pair of Welsh buttocks. Frankly,
well. Are those days coming to an end? Let's discuss that very soon. Andy is pointing out that season 1 is only at number 54 in the Blu-ray chart. So let's just point out that's the Shooty Gatwa season 1.
Yeah.
Shooty Gatwa season 1. So the Savages, even though the animation is debatable, as we are doing on the show, is higher than that.
Yeah.
And so is the season box set limited edition of season 2, which has just come out recently. That's higher than that.
And no doubt season 9 as well has already shot up the charts.
Season 9 is still up there, isn't it? It's still up there. Yeah. So, right. Yeah. I mean, goodness me. Paul Rose has joined us. Nice to see you, Paul. Yes, we're just having a discussion right now here on the show about this week's news that The Savages is on the way to Blu-ray, Steelbook, and DVD. Animated in the usual BBC Studios naff way, in my opinion. But some of you like it. I'm not bothered. Honestly, I'm quite happy to have them not here on the shelf until they're at least £3-4. Then I might just keep them in the wrapper because if I'm going to have to look at something animated, I need it to be a bit more mature than something I could probably do in a Blue Peter theatre. Do you know what I mean? I really do.
There's a show. We could act out the episodes with little Blue Peter.
Now, you might joke, but I've thought about that and how we would do that. I can tell you.
I'm up for that. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So cut me in.
Rob. Hello, Rob. You really have to double think now to enjoy the old stuff, given the TC story. It's keeping them in a job as well, though, isn't it? And quite frankly, I don't know if I want to. You know, Rick Storm is saying to us now, Doctor Who is now the acolyte, Star Trek Discovery, and it was Agatha all along of British woke science fiction nonsense. The entire genre has been destroyed. Well, I'm going to agree with that. Of course it has.
Yeah.
It absolutely has. And it's been destroyed. And I've said before, Rick Storm, in case you don't know, I'm going to say it right now to you. I think it was because these alleged progressives, these alleged activists, they're not. came in and thought, right, what else can we do? And they looked at science fiction, and they had this bitter idea that it was just straight white men that were involved with it, and they all needed to be told. So they came into science fiction, and then didn't realize, because we've been diverse all our lives in science fiction, haven't we? It's just been absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah.
We didn't need any of their progressive nonsense because we were already there. We've been speaking to blue and green skinned aliens all our lives and not batted an eyelid. Absolute nonsense. And then they pushed all this stuff in, and then they blame us when it all flops and they get made redundant. Oh, do us a favour. Can't be done with any of them. Bugger off, I say. Dalek Lives Matter. They're not even hiring people that know the show anymore.
Yeah.
No.
Well said, because they're not, are they? I mean, they think they know the show, but no, they're more intent now, I think, Dalek Lives Matter, with the new version from 2005 onwards. The old one, they don't care about that. They just want it all in the 2005 image.
Even the new version, you have to look at the Doctor Who podcast to see experts at work. Yeah.
There you go.
That was very polite, Paul.
I'm trying to be polite, yes.
Wasn't it? Yeah. I buy the animation DVDs, says Legion of James, to plug the gaps, but much prefer just listening to the audios BBC released with the link narration. I like those as well. And because they came out at a time where we didn't have anything else and we didn't think they were going to do cartoons, a lot of us got into them, let's face it. But I don't even want to do that, Legion of James. I'm not interested in plugging the gap. If it's there, it's there. If it doesn't exist, it doesn't exist. If that's the sort of animation, as I say, give it me for $2.99. I'll put it on the shelf, but I might not even watch it. I'm not that bothered about it, Ian.
We lived with the gaps for years, didn't we? For decades.
Yeah.
Forever.
It's nothing new to us. Can I ask Legion of James, though, if that icon of his, those dogs look very much like Shar-Pei. I'm just curious. What breed are the dogs, please? Thank you.
Well, you've got good eyes. I don't even know what though.
I mean, I have a Shar-Pei, so it looks similar from this angle, but I'm curious.
Garbage telling us that Butter Moon was better than the recent stuff.
Yeah. In fact, I could see wooden spoons in the sandwiches, couldn't you? That'd be quite good.
Yeah. And Armour Ray, Peter Davison did the theme tune, didn't he? Beat me to it. I was about to write that Filmation had cheap tricks, but the stories were excellent and they made good use of what they had. Get the hint, BBC. Yes, that was it, wasn't it? That was how you did it. And that's why they could churn all that stuff out. As Millywig Zag said, it was rotoscaping.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that. If you've got the right technology, get it done. Could Daryl be tempted to make an animated version of the Iron Legion or the Dogs of Doom? How about Alp's Attack? Yeah. Now, the problem with that is, of course, it's all the copyright stuff as well. But, who knows? You never know, do you? And Dalek Lives Matter is also saying that Doctor Who needs a reboot like they did with the original Star Trek movie with Cillian Murphy as the Doctor. Ooh, that's heavy casting.
Yeah.
Whoa.
We want a cheery one, not a dour one. So... I'm sure Killian can do cheery. I'm sure, but yeah.
Ooh, that is. I don't know. Mr. Ben was a great show, says Smiley People. Thank you for your email. That always reminds me of Doctor Who. They should remake that and Catweasel. Oh, Catweasel.
Love Catweasel. Great stuff. Yeah.
It was, wasn't it? It was just what a performance there from Mr. Baildon. Absolutely fantastic. Wow. Right. Yes. So that was that one, everybody. A lot of chat about this in the chat here. So keep that going. Yeah, we're going to move on now to the next article we've got, because yes, even though the Savages was announced, we have of course got Christmas to get through. Christmas 2024 is on the way, and as we know, it brings joy to the world.
That's probably a contradiction in terms, JT, I have to say, but we'll see about that.
Well, we are so excited about it here on the panel. Because, yes, as you know, Ncuti Gatwa is returning for Joy to the World, the alleged Christmas special, which is broadcasting on BBC One on Christmas Day in what is known in the industry as the graveyard slot of 5 o'clock on Christmas Day.
So for a show that's dead, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
It does show a lack of, not confidence, but a lack of we don't care.
Yeah.
Because in case you don't know, because you're outside the UK, that time slot on a Sunday, on a Christmas Day was always a bit iffy. It was always the what can we put in their slots?
It's a filler slot, isn't it? Really, to be honest.
That's the word I was looking for. Thank you. And sometimes I remember, I'm sure we would get things like Disney Time or something back in the old days.
Yeah.
Or Basil's Christmas Special or something like the BBC could lose.
If we were lucky, yes.
Yes, yeah. or that thing where somebody fixed it for you or something. It would be one of those things where they could afford to lose viewers, you know, because it was that time. Because traditionally, and it may have changed now, but traditionally, families got together on the Christmas afternoon, and even though the telly might be on, you paid no attention to it because you were too busy rowing. I mean, playing board games and you know,
having Monopoly fights, that kind of thing.
Yes, exactly. But anyway, so there it is. It's back here, and of course, as we all know, publicity has ramped up an awful lot for this particular one. RTD especially. Yes, we're going to be coming to him very shortly, and we're coming to this particular story right now because Nicola Coughlin admits she's baffled by Doctor Who Christmas Special's plot. I had no idea what was going on. Now, this is from the Standard, which used to be called the London Standard, the London Evening Standard. It's just called the Standard now. Did you know they've rebranded?
No, I didn't know that at all. No.
Why have they dropped the London Evening bit? Because that said it all. It was the paper for people that lived in London. It was the London Evening Standard. Now it's just called the boring old Standard, so it could be anywhere.
And they're trying to increase their readership so it looks more a kind of UK wide rather than just London.
Except it's not because it only deals with London.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Anyway, but yeah, there we go. Let's see what you guys and what everybody in the chat thinks about this. Let's crack on with this. Yes, the Nicola Coughlin has humorously confessed she has no idea what happens in this year's Doctor Who Christmas special. I'm sure when we've all seen it, that'll be more than her.
It's a Moffat script, isn't it? So nobody ever knows, do they?
Yeah.
No.
Really?
Yeah.
They'll explain it on Doctor Who Unleashed afterwards. Okay. Yeah.
Like they've had to do for those awful 8
Yeah.
episodes previously. Anyway, the episode is titled Joy to the World, as we know, and it sees the Doctor embark on a time-traveling journey through Earth's history, where he meets Joy, played by Bridgerton star Coughlin. According to the BBC, Joy discovers a secret doorway to the Time Hotel, uncovering danger, dinosaurs, and the Doctor. D and D. I see what you did there. It carries on, saying, speaking on the Graham Norton show alongside Daniel Craig, Jesse Eisenberg, and Kieran Culkin, she said, I can't tell you anything, not because of secrecy, but because I had no idea what was going on. I was brought up in Ireland, so I didn't see it as a child. So when I got the part, I looked it up on Wikipedia. It was like reading War and Peace, and it was so confusing with monsters and time travel. While Coughlin couldn't shed light on the plot, she did share how much she enjoyed the experience on Friday's instalment of the beloved chat show. It was a fun experience and I had a lovely time, the Derry Girls star added. If they want me back, I would do it again. This smacks very much of Catherine Tate to me.
Well, I have to say, if it's good enough for Beryl Reid, it's good enough for her, I'm sure. But
she won't even know who Beryl Reid is.
Well, I mean, Beryl Reid didn't understand the Doctor Who, did she? Didn't understand the programme, so she was lost as well. So it's happened before, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Warp Drive.
Warp Drive, yeah.
Where's Warp
Drive into Star Avenue. Bless her. Oh, God, love her. No, again, I just thought, so she was on the Graham Norton show, which has had, we've reported about Graham Norton previously because Gatwa was on it last month or the month before, whenever it was as well, and it was edited to take out that whole thing about we're going again for series 3 soon. That was taken out of it, so it's been doing that. There's a thing about the Graham Norton show. They seem to, right from the very beginning, he doesn't like Doctor Who, Norton. It's very obvious. He doesn't understand it.
Yeah.
He's had all these people associated with the show on the show over the last 20 years, on his show. And yet he takes any opportunity to ridicule it. I've never, I mean, this was the latest one for him because he's always there with that stupid laugh he's got. Listen, I'm going to put it on record. I don't like him. I think his time is done. I think he's now just milking it. The format of the show is so tired. It's more or less still the same thing he was doing on Channel 4 before he moved to the BBC all those years ago, just without the internet thing now, because we've all got access to the internet. So they took that bit out, didn't they?
Yeah.
Can't be done with him. So what do you think this is? Why if he doesn't like the show, why does the BBC keep putting Doctor Who people in there? Does he have no say on his own show?
I think he's just a nauseating little prawn, isn't he? That just, like you say, he doesn't like Doctor Who, but he did everything he possibly could to ruin the first episode when it came back in 2005, didn't he?
Yeah,
it probably was him doing it, really. He probably had his finger on a switch and put himself doing it, and then just said, "Oh, I knew nothing about it," just to try and boost his own ratings. I don't like him. I think he's a smug little git. Really, he's not for me.
We've got Legion of James is answering you, Ian. My dogs are rescues from Romania. My sisters found together at 5 months old. They are mixed breed, Heinz variety, but dominant breed is Carpathian Shepherd, Alsatian, and Lab. But who knows?
Oh.
There you go.
I was going to write back to you, Legion of James, but they look beautiful and fantastic taking rescues as well, giving them a life.
Yeah, well done. Well done.
Anyone else thinking about this as well? Shempmeister saying, I won't be watching the Christmas special even out of curiosity. Well, you can come and join us for our review. As we trailered it at the beginning of the show. It's on the way. We will be here to talk about it. Julianne is saying to us, the sleeping off a massive Christmas lunch spot. Exactly that as well.
Yeah. So most people will be on the background and they'll be asleep.
Yeah.
As soon as it starts. Yeah.
So this whole thing, I just find this very, very bizarre about this whole thing, the Great Northern Show. And I just thought, how much of this is scripted? Because this sounds very familiar. Because this does sound to me like Catherine Tate all over again. Because she came into the show, she missed it. I didn't know what was going on. I didn't understand it. What was all this about? She didn't Google it.
Yeah.
Surely, why would Nicola Coughlin have to Google Doctor Who? She's been living in Britain for years now. Surely she'd have heard it in her industry.
Yeah. New Who's been massive recently before shooting. So it's been in the public consciousness. She must know about it. She really must.
Yeah.
I would have thought so. Atherstone 55 is telling me the London Standard is only printed once a week now. That's sad. It used to be. It must be every night, and I think I'm sure I got it the weekends occasionally as well. And the Friday it was packed full of jobs in my day. It was packed. It was a huge edition. It was always, a few pennies, and then it started going free on the tubes and the buses and stuff like that. Woke Metro. That's a shame, that, Atherstone. But thank you for letting me know. I don't know. This is very funny that she didn't know about Doctor Who, and she's come into it to do that. It's just
guff. It's scripted guff. She knows exactly who Doctor Who is and what Doctor Who is. Otherwise, she would look at her career as she's a rising star in a sense, especially with that Bridgerton tosh.
Yeah.
So she's not going to go into something that she doesn't know what it is. She wouldn't risk a career on that. She'd only do it because she thinks it's going to give her a further leg up.
Yeah.
Little does she know.
Yeah.
She knows exactly what it is. That's just.
It does feel a little bit like they're just, going through the motions a little bit with all this now. It's like, let's just mark time till it's finished, shall we? Kind of thing, Yeah.
She is also covered in the latest edition of Radio Times, which is available right now. Now, as we reported on last week's show, there's 2 versions out right now of the Radio Times. And it's very confusing for people as well, because you've got the one that deals with a week, and then you've got the one that deals with the bigger one, the bigger version. So this is the one we're going to be dealing with at the moment. It's this particular one that you can get now. Shooty and Nicola on the cover. Doctor Who, Carol's Turkey, and No TARDIS. We talked about this last week. We are going to be talking about this again now. And there is various features in this about this, and Nicola does appear in this as well. From Bridgerton to the Doctor Who Christmas special, Nicola Coughlin has had a magical year. They ask her various questions. You've starred in the comedy drama Big Mood, stole the show in Bridgerton, and now join the Doctor for his festive adventure. Are you exhausted? She said, it's been amazing. It's been the busiest year of my life. I think we went to 8 different countries on the Bridgerton press tour, but in a really lovely way with 2 shows I'm so proud of. And it feels really nice to end the year with Doctor Who. I'm getting to sit down with my family at Christmas to watch it. Very few things I do are actually family friendly, so it's really lovely to have one. Oh, there you go.
Is she talking about Doctor Who, really?
Yeah, Doctor Who finally is family friendly.
That's interesting. Yeah.
It hasn't been that for quite some time.
Yeah.
There's also this bit here. How does it feel that now for the rest of time, some Whovians, I hate that term, will only ever want to discuss Doctor Who? Well, she answers, I didn't grow up with Doctor Who. In my house in Ireland, we only had the 2 Irish channels, no BBC. So it wasn't in my day-to-day. When they asked me, I was super keen. But when I tried to do the research, I thought, oh my God, this is a full universe. I was kind of overwhelmed. But then I thought the thing to do would be to just try to do my best acting and hopefully make the Doctor Who fans happy. Well, good luck to you.
The thing is, she doesn't have to do research about the show. Her character's not doesn't have to know about the show. She's in the show. You know, it's you don't have to research the show. You don't have to know about the Doctor playing a character in that universe because she's playing a character. Surely,
and the character doesn't know the Doctor anyway.
Exactly.
So it'd be more believable to do that.
To be surprised. Yeah.
I mean, I like it. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I loved Derry Girls. What a brilliant, funny series that was.
Very
Probably
funny,
the last comedy you could ever get away with broadcasting on television these days. It was very, very on the knuckle, and it was just brilliant. And she was great in it as well as Claire. So don't get me wrong. I do like her. She could turn out to be the high point of this particular episode as well.
She may be.
Another question from Radio Times. What can we expect from the Christmas special Joy to the World? Dodgy question. Anyway, she says, oh, it's just beautifully written. It's funny and it's heartbreaking and it's full of adventure and excitement and aliens. It's exactly the kind of thing you want to sit down and watch after Christmas dinner. I think it's a real homecoming with Stephen Moffat and Russell T Davies working their magic, and Ncuti as well. He truly has that charisma in real life. I'm just lucky to be along for the ride. There's a bit where the Doctor goes on the Orient Express. I asked to visit the set because it was so beautiful. There's something about traveling by train, the 1930s and the glamour. But New Year's Eve on a train like that would be amazing, the perfect way to see in 2025. There you go. So that's Nicola's bit.
How would she know it was a real homecoming for Moffat if she knew nothing about the series?
Yeah.
She must have learned stuff on the blooming show, mustn't she? They must have told her stuff or what have you.
Well, this is Moffat's final episode, though, isn't it? Apparently. So,
yeah, right.
Well, let's look at that. Let's look at that very shortly, shall we? Mark Greaves saying says high point certainly won't be Gatwa or the story. Komodo is with us. Hello, Komodo. How are you? Noodle Arms. She did not research. She did research not on Doctor Who, but how to act. Ooh, scathing. Peter Venkman fan said, well, which is it? She said she had no idea what's going on in it. Again, I'm thinking part of this is simply because in the Norton thing, with an audience there, and because he's possibly, I haven't seen the show, so I could be talking out of context, but my experience of seeing it, he's always getting at it. It's always trying to belittle it.
Yeah.
You know, and always he has that sort of smug thing when he talks about fans.
Yeah.
Oh, they're all a bunch of weirdos. You know?
Well, I remember, I think it was for the 50th, they had David Tennant and Matt Smith on it, and that was highly embarrassing. I don't know if you remember seeing that one.
Which one?
The one for the 50th anniversary for Day of the Doctor, they had Matt Smith and Tennant on it, and they got questions from the audience, from fans. It was really embarrassing. Yeah.
I don't remember that, so I'm going to be honest. Okay. I don't remember that. Daryl's with us, by the way. Hello, Daryl. Nice to see you. How they dismantled the TARDIS set. I get the impression it's absent now. Oh, really? Oh, really? Do tell us more. Who have you heard that from, Daryl? You gossip monger, you. Yes, we love it. Let's have a look. Raymond is with us as well. Hello, Raymond. She isn't exactly a Kylie replacement. I'm not seeing what all the fuss is about. Exactly. We'll talk about two. I'm calling BS. Come. Sorry?
What? No, I just made a comment about a forklift. Go on.
Okay, right. Cara is saying, did she not read the script? I mean, surely if you read the script, you could get a flavour of your character. Yes.
Well, she's probably playing herself in this, I'd imagine, to be honest. But yeah.
Well, we'll soon find out if it is a character or not. I mean, she was playing a great character in Derry Girls, and admittedly, that's the only thing I've seen her in, because there's no way I was going to watch Bridgerton. I tried the first episode, thought, oh, this is a bit weird, don't get this. And then tried the second episode, thought, this is not for me. This is certainly not for me. So no, I didn't get that. William Orlock, 86, is with us. Moffat, who started the family and fan unfriendly trend, doing a 10th rate science fiction Fawlty Towers is what we already know it will be. Oh, William, that's good. Oh, that's a good one, isn't it, guys? Well done. Well done.
Yeah.
And Komodo was actually saying to me they're scripted interviews. That's what I'm getting at. Could they possibly be tying in with the fact that Norton doesn't like the show and will do anything he can to send it up? No matter who's in front of him. And they go with it. It's about time somebody turned around and said, don't talk about the show like this. This is a big show for the BBC. Well, it was. You know, this is my livelihood. You know, it's about time somebody...
Well, I must admit, I did see the one when Gatwa was on it, when he was talking about play. And that was fairly stinky as well, just really hard to watch, because Gatwa came across really badly anyway, but he wasn't like, he's not a great interview. It's hardly Parkinson, is he, Graham Norton, is he? He's not got that talent. You know?
Is that why Gatwa came across badly? Was he just uncomfortable in the...
I think it may have been that, yeah. I think because he wasn't interviewed very well, you know, that could have been part of it, or maybe just Gatwa himself, who knows, but I think that didn't help anyway, you know?
Well, that's interesting.
How does he keep getting the gig, Norton, really?
Who knows?
I mean, he's in a graveyard slot anyway, isn't he? So he's not going to be, raking.
When do they show it, Ian? When do they show it now?
It's quite late on, isn't it?
It's about 11 o'clock, something like that. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Good grief. Well, don't forget now. I mean, I think it's a co-production. It might be wrong, but I certainly know BBC Studios have a hand in it.
Right.
Hence why they get people like Doctor Who being thrown into it, whether they want to be or not. And I do know that at one point it was his production company that was producing it at one point as well. So maybe they're now in a deal. I don't know, but why is it still there? Because the BBC seems to think it's still popular. And let's face it, who's going to take over from it? Because we don't have any Parkinsons around these days. We don't even have any Wogans around these days.
No.
It's all about the hosts now. They do it, isn't it? They've taken on this nonsense. But I can't believe people are still watching it. I look at the pictures for this show and I think it's the same format, the same set. Everything's the same.
He's been doing it for what, 25, 30 years, something like that, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Oh, it's a long time because it started. Wasn't it the 90s when it was on a Friday night? It was part of those big Friday night.
Yeah. So it could be 35 years at least. Yeah.
I don't know. A long time.
Okay.
He's made a lot of money out of it, though. He really has.
He's one of their highest paid people, isn't he? And I just don't understand it. It's like Lineker with Match of the Day. I mean,
it was.
Yeah, because he's going, isn't he?
I find him quite odious, Lineker. But I mean, he was doing Match of the Day, which is also shifted off at 10:30 or whatever on a Saturday night. It's hardly prime time, and yet they were paying him an absolute shed load.
Yeah,
along with people like Shearer and the like. And I never quite understood it. Really, it's not like you're doing live Sky Sports commentary as it actually happens on the pitch. And Norton's the same. He's one of these highly paid people that's on in the dead of night when probably 57 people and a cat are watching. I just don't get it at all.
Do you know what though? They might come back saying it's huge on iPlayer with 80 billion views.
Yeah. They're bound to.
Yeah. Everything's about the iPlayer now, as we know, don't we? It's not about physical, and it should be. And it should be about that because I've said it before, they're so hypocritical, aren't they, these people? They'll always go on about iPlayer.
Yeah.
And yet they'll celebrate certain things. And I'm sure they're celebrating the fact now, if I can find my details here. Where is it? Bear with me a second. Oh, goodness me. Yes. Bedria told me today that last night the final for Strictly Come Dancing got 8.6 million.
Really? Wow.
8.6 million overnight. Now that's a success.
Yeah.
That's a success. Comparing that to Doctor Who, which got nothing compared to that over in its overnights, 2 million, and thereabouts, under 3, wasn't it? And they'll celebrate that now. They'll say, oh my God, Strictly was huge. Let's commission another series. Well, let's get it right next time then, maybe, and stop being DEI focused. Oh, you can't, you're the BBC. But yeah, congratulations to the Strictly team. 8.6 million overnight, apparently. What a laugh. Raymond Williams, I'm not watching Doctor Who on Christmas Day. I see it as my duty not to watch. That's where I'm at. Yes, we can, as I say, you can come and join us for our review and we will tell you what you haven't missed. Farsight is also saying, hello, Farsight. Some people think the scheduling will increase the viewership. I'm not convinced. People won't forget what a stinker last season was. Absolutely, Farsight. They didn't tune in then. Why are they going to tune in for Christmas? Just because it's Christmas. I'm telling you, this show's done. We will be looking at all that, though, here on Who's Views. So stay with us. Make sure you have liked. Make sure you've subscribed. Make sure you are still subscribed because we're going to be talking about all that. I cannot wait to see the rating, the overnight rating, and then the consolidated rating for this episode, Joy to the World.
I'm looking forward to doing our predictions for them. That'll be fun.
Oh, yeah. It's going to be good to be doing that again.
Yeah, it will be. Yeah.
That's right. Coming soon here on Who's Views, the ratings game. It's on the way back. We'll also be doing the Wokeometer, of course, but we'll talk about that more as we get near to the big day itself. There's the Castellan spandex. Yes. She looks like she's had a flavour of more than her character. Ooh, scathing. Scathing. Lots of you in the chat. Thank you so much for joining us. It is so good to see you all. It really, really is. There's lots of you talking about this one now. So it's great to see you. Yeah, so that was interesting. I thought that particular point. Hello to Tony Graydon. I've not seen you here on Who's Views before. Nice to see you. Welcome to Who's Views. Please subscribe if you haven't already. TV chat shows are out of date. I prefer long-form conversations on YouTube, but you've come to the right place. We'll be on till midnight at this rate, I tell you. The timing, mate, goes out the window all the time on headlines. Doesn't it, guys?
It certainly does, yeah.
It really does, yeah.
We come up there.
That's fine.
Sorry.
Yeah.
But it's good because it's all because of you guys.
Yeah.
We like to get as many of your chats in, so it's absolutely fantastic. And it's lovely to see you, Tony. Thank you for joining us. Aren't they a nice crew in there, everybody? They are good chats. We love it. We love it. We love it. We love it. Domgo is saying to us, someone should tell RTD Doctor Who is for life and not just for Christmas or the length of your agenda project. Strange you should say that. Strange you should say that, Domgo, because RTD has been around as well. Well, it's also been a square, but, you know, lots of stuff going on there. Oh, look at this. TARDIS Travels has started already. Joy to the World should get 5.5 million on Xmas Day. Really?
I doubt it very much. I doubt it.
When we're doing the ratings game, I'm not going to start it now, but when we're doing the ratings game, you can tell us all what you think it's going to get, but I can't see it getting 5.5 at all, I'm afraid. No. But no, let's get back to our beloved leader then. RTD, yes, yet again. He's out and about publicising this show. He never stops. And let's remember that in the Radio Times, he says, we don't want to do this. Well, don't.
Yeah.
Don't then. He says it's all publicity. Yeah. Well, he said, didn't he, you know, we don't want to do this, but it's publicity for the show. We'll send someone else, like your actor or someone like that, because the public are becoming more aware of your politics and doing a David Tennant and saying we don't want to listen to him. But here he is. Yet again, this week, he was on The One Show. They love him. He's been on this more times than any of the actors in the show, I swear to God. But here he is again on The One Show. Did anyone see it?
I've seen clips of it. I've not seen the whole program.
Ah, right, okay. Well, here he was doing his usual. Oh, it's wonderful. It's marvelous. It's glorious. It's fabulous. Oh, well, you know what I'm talking about. You know what he was doing. Here he is doing this. He's pushing joy to the world, poor girl, and he's telling how wonderful and marvelous and how everybody has to watch it. And it's brilliant. It's wonderful. It's marvelous. It's brilliant. It's lovely. It's marvelous. It's Christmassy. Blah blah. The usual, isn't he? We all know.
I wish they had, bullshit subtitles underneath telling what he's really saying. That'd be quite nice. Yeah.
It's so boring though now, isn't it? Because it's the same thing. And sometimes I'm thinking, is this really enthusiastic? Because I'm reading between the lines, everybody. And I reckon, no matter what they say, this is my opinion, I reckon they do know what's going on after this. However, we'll get to that in a second. But look at this, because apparently, if it wasn't on The One Show, it was somewhere else. Doctor Who Season 2 trailer confirmed for Christmas. Woo! According to
do.
Yeah. Are any of us surprised by that?
No.
Really?
No. Yeah. Well, we said before, he's following the same format he had before, so it's inevitable there'll be a Season 2 trailer, like he used to do when he first did it.
Yeah. Did they do one last year, guys? Can you remember from that thing? What was it called?
Church on Ruby Road.
Church on Ruby Road.
Yeah.
How do you like the way I can remember it all these days?
Yeah, I can't remember if they did it or not. I can't remember much about it. Apart from the singing goblins, I don't remember much about it, to be honest.
Ask me anything from the 60s or 70s and I'm there, but ask me about anything from last year and I can't remember.
Yeah. I mean, I was going to ask if you remember what time it was on last Christmas. Was it on a less kind of crap slot,
I don't know, and I do have to look at it because we're going to be bringing that into the show. Right, this is what it's going to be. I think it was slightly later.
I think it was, maybe 6 or something.
Yeah, we're going to be using that because there we go. But anyway, so there it is. It's not going to work. It's not going to work because they're going to show this thing which will be on for 60 seconds or just over 60 seconds of excerpts from the next series, and then the next series doesn't look to be coming until April or May. Because that's already been confirmed. He said it was going to be May, didn't he? We've covered that here on the show.
I'm looking forward to it because apparently Ryland Clark might be in it, the love child of Barry Gibb and Donny Osmond, allegedly. That he's going to be in it, which will be fantastic, I'm sure.
I'm sure that's going to be a treat to our foreign fans, our friends abroad.
Thing was, when they did it originally, when it first came back and they did the trailer and everything, it was starting in the March. So you only had about 10 weeks or whatever to wait. And you were seeing it, so it was quite exciting, I mean that trailer that we saw just as we got the end of Christmas Invasion, where you saw the Cybermen for the first time, just briefly, and then.
Well, it was good back then, though.
Yeah.
Oh, it was good
I
back
mean,
then,
the one
yeah.
I really liked was, going to season 3, and there's a great shot of Dalek Sec and the Dalek heartbeat playing, and that was a lovely way to leave you wanting more. It was great. It was lovely, fantastic stuff. You know?
Yeah, but that's when we as fans were supporting it to an extent. Not all of us. I get that. And when the British public certainly were into it.
Yeah,
and Toys R Us had great big things. Woolworths had things, you know.
Yeah.
Now look at nobody cares. The Joy to the World will tell us and indicate, but you're going to get that Series 2 trailer at the end, and then people will have to, the British public who won't be watching, I'm sure, will then not also come back in May. We are going to be looking at all this coming up in 2025. I can't wait to share all this with you guys, because part of me is going to be laughing. Honestly, Who viewers, I think a lot of us are going to be going at all this. But let's see what else he was talking about. Now, this is from one of my favorite sources of information. And you've had a rotten week this week, and you deserve to have a rotten week, you horrible, horrible, lying people. All an opinion, all alleged. But yes, these people were making the headlines in the British press this week for other reasons. It is, of course, the pink paper, or as they call themselves today, the pink news, the TQI cult leader, if you like, something that kisses RTD's arse and he kisses it back, and it's all about their extreme nonsense. But look what they said this week. Yes, Doctor Who Season 2 is coming sooner than you think, reveals RTD. Everybody, don't get too excited all at once. Let's see what they're talking about in this awful, awful piece of nonsense. It goes on to say that RTD has revealed that the second season of his revamped Doctor Who series will be coming to screens sooner than you think. And that's a quote. Appearing on BBC One's The Once Show last night, the 10th of December, the gay TV writing legend, shouldn't that be legend, teased some of the plot points fans can expect in season 2 and promised that it's going to be sensational. In response to a fan question about what to expect from season 2, Davis revealed, it's coming, it's sensational, it's marvelous. There's a lot of scares. There's a planet in the far future that's absolutely terrifying. There's a trip to Miami. It's very, very, very good. And it's coming sooner than you think. Both Gatwa and his companion Ruby Sunday, played by Millie Gibson, will return for season 2. And before season 2 lands next year, Doctor Who fanatics have this year's Christmas special Joy to the World to look forward to, which stars Bridgerton favourite and staunch LGBTQ plus ally Nicola Coughlin. The former Derry Girls actress will star as the titular Joy, a traveller who gets wrapped up in the Doctor's time-jumping escapades. Bored? Yes. It carries on. Explaining more about the special storyline, Davies shared, it's a time hotel. You can book a room there and the door goes through to anywhere in history. So it was called Christmas Everywhere all at once. You can go to the Blitz in World War II. You can go to Pompeii. You could go to anywhere. Obviously, it's Doctor Who. There's a secret plan going on with the mysterious briefcase being smuggled upstairs. People are about to end the world. It's very exciting, he continued. Well, I'm not excited, honestly. It carries on, guys. Referring to Coughlin as the Doctor's Christmas companion, the writer went on to tease her and Gatwa's on-screen chemistry as gorgeous. They're gorgeous together. Absolutely gorgeous. It's a delight. We just stood back and let them do it. They both sizzle together, he shared. Thank you for that.
That explains a lot. Yeah.
Then this awful rag goes on to say the first season of RTD's new Doctor Who series aired on BBC iPlayer, BBC One and Disney Plus earlier this year and heralded in the queerest ever era of the classic sci-fi show. Also, says JT, ad-libbing and putting in here, the most unpopular. While sex education star Gatwa became the first black out actor to play the Doctor, episode 6 entitled Rogue saw the Doctor share his first romantic gay kiss in the show's 60-year history. Totally unnecessary, another ad-lib. He stole a kiss with enigmatic bounty hunter Rogue, played by a nice Indian boy's Jonathan Groff. The season also saw guest appearances from queer stars, including two-time RuPaul's Drag Race winner Vince Monsoon, trans actor Pete McHale, How I Met Your Mother's Neil Patrick Harris, and Heartstopper's Yasmin Finney. So Pete McHale, in case a lot of you don't know, this was Pete McHale, who was in Dot and Bubble for about a second. There she is there.
Right.
Yes, playing Gothic Pull. There she is. She was in it for a brief second, but it's another tick box that they can have there. Another bit of virtual info. You say, oh, look, we're hiring, aren't we lovely? We're hiring trans actors now. Who gives a toss? But I tell you what we do care about, the messages you're giving out with it all anyway. But there you go. Yes, so season 2. So he's teased it a little bit there in answer to a fan question. And again, I'm wondering is this going to be the last series of Doctor Who? I'm getting this really, really strong feeling, everybody. This is it. He knows what's happening. He knows that this is the last one. I've just got a feeling. Anybody else getting this feeling, guys?
Well, he's bound to know it. I don't believe the fact he's not had discussion with Disney or the BBC about going forward. They don't plan that way, do they? You have to plan way in advance. They've seen the rushes for season 2. If they think it's better, they would give it another series. But it's exactly the same as season 1. So they're not happy and they're stopping it. Simple as that.
Yeah. I'd be amazed if it got a series 3. It doesn't deserve a series 3. When you consider the ratings that it was, in the 80s when it was taken off, the ratings it was getting were, 3 times on average higher than what Gatwa was getting.
Justice for Battlefield. Remember that, Ian? That's it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And it's unfair, it's unjustified, and it's really, really crap.
Yeah. There's just something about this whole thing. Rose Kirby's joining us. Hello, lovely. Hope you're okay. It's only about 264 hours or 11 days until Doctor Who special Joy to the World. Don't remind me, darling. I know, because we're going to be watching it to review on this blooming show. And our very own Phil is with us. Delightful, sizzling, and gorgeous. 3 words that immediately inspire thoughts of a sci-fi adventure series. Yeah. Exactly.
It sounds like a sausage commercial, doesn't it, to be honest?
It was. Lee Smith is also saying sizzle. That's it, isn't it?
Yeah.
Do you know what that just reminded me of? Now he says, going off on a tangent, everybody. The first ever advert on TV AM back in 1983, in February 1983, it was a sausage advert. Sausages for breakfast.
Hear it sizzling away, yeah.
Rick Storm, I agree with you totally. Stink news are just as bad as the BBC. They're all from the same page. And it's interesting now that when the Pink News was relevant, and it was called the Pink Paper, and it was a freebie in a load of the gay bars in and around the southeast and also throughout the country, it was relevant. It told you good news, proper news. And now it's produced mainly by a load of queer heterosexuals who are seeking validation or need to stand out. And also this week, the allegations from some of the members of staff have been incredible, but not surprising. Go and look it up and laugh. Let's hope they get closed down, because it's a poison.
They are horrendous allegations, aren't they?
They are ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. But absolutely, I am not surprised. Castellan is saying to us all here, I love that, the Castellan. Happy memories of the Castellan, Deadly Assassin, Ark of Infinity, 5 Doctors. I can hear the music. Anyway, Pink News is the headlines for all the wrong reasons at the moment. Actually, it is, isn't it? It is, as I'm saying. And good, I say. What's this from Mark? Mark A. Wright saying, Tranter was suggesting there might be a long way for season 2. It's almost like they're trying to wrap up all Disney Who up by the end of 2025. Exactly, Mark. Yeah. And yet they've got the Gatwa series, and then they've got the Sea Devil spin-off thing, which they've just wrapped. So they've got 2. He's telling us there's going to be a decision about series 3 with Disney and their investment and their involvement after season 2. We'll be here to see what he says, what the outcome is, because I reckon they'll try and keep quiet about anything they can so it doesn't harm the viewing figures for either season 2 or the thing that's coming for the thing, which I reckon will be the end of the year. Because if they think, oh, the press is going to get out there, and the public think, oh, Doctor Who's coming off, they'll automatically think, we're not going to watch it.
Yeah.
Nobody's watching you anyway, dorks. Really, nobody's watching it anyway. So what's the problem? Tell the fandom. And I am slightly concerned about these people, Mark, that are actually looking at this thing. Oh, no, it's not coming off. They can't handle it. They cannot. It's going to be like the Wham thing and the Take That thing all over again, where they announce the splitting up and then the meltdown, Although this time it will be like 30 or 40 of them.
What, the whole viewing audience?
Yeah. All of them, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, they'll all have a meltdown, won't they? But as I say, we will be ready here on Whose Views.
I mean, it's going to be incredibly distressing for them and really terrible and incredibly funny.
Yeah. There are lots of you that actually know where I'm coming from on this. Domgo, Doctor Who is ending sooner than you think. TARDIS travels, best to get the pain over quickly of season 2. Dalek Eye, the only way they can bring joy to the world is about announcing there's no season 3.
Very good.
That is very good. It is very good. Entertainment creator, it's nice to see you, who's telling us that the best Christmas special, in my opinion, is the Christmas Invasion. Julianne is saying to us, they did air a trailer for Series 1 straight after last year's Xmas episode, did they? Thank you. You see, how many of us have forgotten? But thank you for that. So there's a lot of the chat guys that are getting what I'm saying here. I think they know. And I think the answer is in a negative.
Well, the fandom seems to be jumping on the bandwagon that when he said it's coming sooner than you think, that it might be March, but I doubt it. I think originally didn't RTD wanted to follow season 1 straight on after
the Christmas special.
Yeah, but Disney had their own ideas. So I think if Disney's let them have Christmas Day this year without the midnight thing, then maybe there has been a change in the scheduling, but who knows? You know?
Yeah. Well, as we've reported on Headlines a few weeks back, he has confirmed, or somebody confirmed, I'm sure it was RTD, said, no, it's going to be on at the same time as it was this year, which is in May.
Yeah.
And it better be, because I've got my schedule for this channel all set up for May. Anyway, but you know, I can't see it. I can't see it not being, because Disney are pulling the strings. They are the main contributor of money. Let's face it here, you know. So yeah, I think you're right, Paul, because he's got his way with Christmas and it's being shown Christmas Day here in the UK, on Boxing Day around the rest of the world, because your Boxing Day outside the UK is our Christmas Day.
Yeah.
There we go. So he's got his way. But yeah, it wouldn't surprise me. Julianne is saying to us, the Blitz in World War II, where folks are dying under bombs, it's an odd choice for a Christmas holiday. We'll have to see how that fits in. And Daryl is saying to us, none of this is selling it to me. It's quite the opposite. Yeah. Exactly. Paul Rose is saying, how many times do they have to say queer in a couple of paragraphs? It says it all, really. That's the pink paper for you, or the pink news as it's called now. It's poison. And they are pushing that. In case you don't know, puberty blockers have been barred and banned in the United Kingdom this very week by the Labour government. Surprise, surprise. Oh. But yes, West Streeting is sticking to his guns there, because you can't do anything else. There have been too many reports out about health issues and how they can affect people badly. So they have to do that for the sake of the public. People like Pink News and all the people as part of the TQ cult, including the people that happen to be running our favorite show these days, are not going to like that at all, because it's all about the Q agenda, that homophobic slur. Into the Dark's back with us. Hello, Into the Dark. Ooh, it's nice to see you. You guys murdered Doctor Who. Congratulations. Not even the Daleks could do that. Yeah. Well, it's true, isn't it? I mean, you know, and they don't care. They've recreated it in their own image. They've basically taken a very successful format, and because they wouldn't be able to come up with anything original themselves, they've just put all their nonsense in it. And they've been doing it for some time now, Into the Dark, to be quite honest. I think my brain automatically tunes out of anything RTD says and everything that is preceded by the cult alphabet, says Legion of James. And Farsight is knocking on the head here. I think he sounded pretty desperate.
Yeah.
I get it's kind of a career killer for him, couldn't it? And to be quite honest, he deserves it. He's not stood himself in very good stead with this at all, and his attitude has been atrocious. His language has been atrocious. The way he's spoken to people has been incredibly disrespectful and atrocious, and he's got away with it because he can hide under that banner of "I'm not a BBC employee," you know. And the BBC have said that, haven't they? That he's a bad wolf employee, so it's not really their issue. But he's going out on a BBC platform, and he deserves nothing good. He's got his just desserts, hasn't he? Let's be honest. Yeah, his career should never recover from this, because the series won't, I don't think.
We've got that. Is it telling that RTD has done several interviews now without his arms around the bestest Doctor ever? Well, we all know Gat was in theatre, so I wouldn't read too much into that, to be quite honest. Mudcrab is saying his name is Hera Hoffer. Jinx is the character he plays. Can I just please respectfully correct you on that? Hera Hoffer, don't care what he says. His name is Jerick Roman Lamar Hoffer. That's his name. I don't care what fantasy land he's living in. I don't care what validation he's looking at from the rest of the world. Sanity needs to be restored. Truth is returning. He can call himself what he likes, but he's still a bloke and he's still a male. And his name is Jerick Roman Lamar Hoffer, who's playing Hera Hoffer, who's playing Jinx Monsoon. It gets very confusing, but that's the world they live in, and I will not comply, ever. It's not going to happen. So there we go. Woodhouse, thanks, Mudcrab. 122 is saying to us, I think it will be the last proper series. maybe an occasional special. I can't even see that happening. The public in Britain doesn't care. And we'll see that, I think, because I reckon this is going to do around about 1.3, possibly. We'll talk about this, but we'll talk about this in one of our next shows. I can't see this pulling in the British public at all. I'm thinking they'll come in for Wallace and Gromit. So I think it might go up.
The proper series was about 7 years ago anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wallace and Gromit follows Doctor Who.
There were a peak at the end of Doctor Who, people tuning in for Wallace and Gromit. So that'll get a kind of a burst, a kind of boost, and see what happens with that. But it'll be tiny because they don't want to see any Doctor Who. They'll wait till the very last minute to tune into Wallace and Gromit, I imagine.
Yeah. Entertainment Creator is saying to us, I don't think it's the end of Doctor Who. It's rumours. It's happened during Series 12. I saw posts claiming they were going to cancel, but it never happened. Same for Series 4. Is Series 12 the end of the Whittaker era?
No, that's end of... oh, yes, it is. That's right. Yeah, it is, yeah.
Right. Well, Entertainment Creator...
wasn't it?
They were...
Then you got Flux, didn't you? You got Flux.
Yeah. Yeah. What happened at the end of the Whittaker era, Entertainment Creator, the show was coming off air. That's absolutely right. It was coming off air. The contracts for everybody involved with that production had been fulfilled. They weren't renewing everybody. We know that. I know that. It was coming off the air. It wasn't doing well. And without the British audience, I don't care what they say abroad, without a British audience, there is no Doctor Who. It's as simple as that, because if the BBC don't show it, there's no show. So it was coming off, but it was only because of Catherine Tate and David Tennant and RTD that a lifeline was given. Unfortunately, RTD decided to double down with the nonsense and use Doctor Who to push his own agenda. And there is still no audience. The British public have left it completely. What's grabbing on now, these 1 to 2 millions are what's left of the fan base. And that's it. It's not the British public. Strictly, as I said to you last night, got over 8 million. That's down for Strictly on its final. It used to get 9 to 10. So that's still down as far as I'm aware. On its finale, 8 million on its overnights. So what they're going to do now on the catch up, as they're always telling us, more watcher through iPlayer.
Yeah, but this is watching Strictly. It's like watching a live football match, isn't it? You want to see it live because that's the experience. You know what I mean? You don't want to watch it on catch up because you know the results. You'll see them on the news or blah blah blah. So you want to see it live, don't you? That's the thing.
Exactly. Lex is saying to us, all I can say, JT, it's the end, but the moment is preferred for the axe is coming. It's at that point now where the majority of Doctor Who fans want this thing off the air. It's totally the opposite to 89. That's the interesting thing this time around. The producers want it on. We don't want it. Anthony Parkinson saying to us, the rumours out of Bad Wolf or Gatwa is done and talks with Disney have broken down. It wouldn't surprise me. Would not surprise me. And Farsight saying he's been in television long enough to know the score. He's been covering up for a long time. I think they all are, because they've got to stay popular. They've got to stay not popular. They've got to stay positive with whatever they're selling. Especially this one. This was filmed months ago.
Yeah.
Months ago.
I saw an interesting theory, and I don't know whether this could be true contractually, but I had a theory potentially that the Gatwa is Disney's Doctor, and he's done his 2 seasons. If they're going to bring it back for a 3rd season, they'd have a new Doctor because it has to be someone who wasn't part of Disney's deal, apparently. If that's true, that could be very interesting, but I think it's nonsense.
I think it's nonsense as well. I think the thing will finish with the Sea Devil thing. There is no Doctor Who in the can for next Christmas because they haven't started filming Series 3. So, you can sort of guess if they're going to do a Christmas special for next year, they have to do it at least in the summer of this year.
I remember you said you had a theory, GT, about the idea of having this by regeneration to have Tennant and Gatwa was a way of separating the kind of proper Doctor Who and Disney Who. I wonder if that's going to come back and surprise us at some point. Not necessarily Tennant, but the fact that Shoot is an offshoot from Tennant, if that makes sense.
The problem is, though, Paul, you're thinking like a fan. What's that going to do with the public?
Yeah. The public don't care. Yeah,
public don't care. And if you keep going on with all this mythological baggage, they're not going to care even more. It's going to alienate even more of them. You're going to get down to 500 people watching it eventually. What you've got to do is take it off the air. Make a fuss of it going off the air. Let the public know it's going. We've got it wrong. It's going now.
Yeah.
And then if you do decide to bring it back in, and it needs a long rest, I would say another 6, 7, 8 years, maybe 10.
Yeah.
And then see what's like, what the state of Britain is like, what the state of the world is like. all this has been about trying to make Doctor Who big in America. And they're going to have to get over that if it's going to be successful in Britain, because it's two entirely different audiences. And they've dumbed down enough on the British take on Doctor Who, as far as I'm concerned, when it's what made it a cult, really. Yeah. That's my opinion in it. Into the Dark is telling us, though, here, it's unjustified to sit on YouTube for hours complaining about a TV show, LOL. Well, you weren't around, obviously, in the old days, were you, where we used to do this in pubs with a couple of drinks?
Yeah.
That's what we said. It's exactly the same thing. We just do it together with a bigger audience now. Thank you so much for watching this. We've got over 200 people joining us out there right now. If you can come into the chat, come and tell us what you think. Everybody is welcome here, but thank you very much. But this is exactly what we used to do in the old days.
Well, if it's unjustified, fair enough, but it's our time. We can do what we like. That's it.
Yeah, if you go back even further, I mean, like you say, JT, in pubs and things, it was absolutely the case. Or the old Doctor Who Appreciation Society local groups when you had meetings, or the really slow way of having an argument via a letters page of a fanzine. That's really going back.
That was Pacey, wasn't it? That was
But the only difference here really is we're doing something that's been done for 40 years at least, but we're just doing it in a style that is absolutely immediate. That's all.
Yeah. That's why we love it, because look what we're doing now. We're interacting, everybody. It's absolutely fantastic. Simon L is saying they have to know they can't wait until the end of season 2 because that won't give them enough time for it to be filmed and post-production done unless they take next year off, and season 3 is in 2026. Exactly. Because the season you get next year will count as one broadcast year. But if they're going to go again for 2026, they have to film the series next year. So that should all be slated in. It doesn't look as it's going to be. I know he's been working for scripts for series 3 in case.
Yeah.
But I'm reading between the lines. I am Who viewers getting the feeling the show is done. And hooray. If it isn't, let's see what major changes they bring to it, because I don't think Disney's sticking around.
No. And I think they have to make changes to it if they're going to do a third season. But like we said before, they're too arrogant to do any of those changes, aren't they?
Entertainment Creators is sticking to his guns, saying if Doctor Who is going to end, we won't know until the series finale of that season. They will only decide then. Doctor Who was a success on Disney Plus for low budget television, so it's rumours low budget. I'm not sure. I'm not sure anything should be looked at low budget. It was millions they put into this show, wasn't it?
They got 100 million, didn't they?
That's a lot of money. And for Disney in the States, it's in now Entertainment Creator. I'm not so sure. Also, you're looking at it, obviously, from an out of the UK point of view. I'm going to tell you again, without a British audience, there's no show. It has to be popular in its homeland. And it isn't. It is not popular. The British public have rejected the show. We do not like being preached to with fantasy, all this TQ cult nonsense, all this pronoun BS, to use a pronoun. It's all nonsense. We don't want that. RTD, Chibnall destroyed the show. They did an unnecessary gender change. That destroyed the character. They've carried on with that. They're pushing all this sort of stuff. It's not even the same character anymore. But I can tell you, the majority of fans have gone, but the British public have gone.
I'd like to see the evidence of it being a success on Disney. I've heard
we've seen nothing.
Yes, it's all been saying it's not been good at all, to be honest.
It didn't even feature in their top programs. But I mean, I respectfully disagree with the comment that we won't know until the series finale of that season. We knew before the end of Survival that it wasn't coming back in 1990.
We did, yeah.
And there was no internet then. The news was a lot slower, but we knew. Probably for most of that series that it wasn't coming back.
Yeah, I mean, we are obviously speculating here. We're reading between the lines. I'm certainly Entertainment Creator reading between the lines here. But if there was a season 3, they'd be crowing about it now. Now, don't forget they took out that comment from Ncuti Gatwa in the Graham Norton show. That says a lot to me. They would be telling us now, oh, look at us. We're just wrapped on season 1 of the Sea Devil thing, whatever. Oh, but we're going again in a couple of months' time because we start shooting for series 3 in February. None of that is happening. It's deathly quiet here in the UK. Nobody in the industry is confirming that a series 3 is going to be filming in 2025 for 2026. So that's what I'm pointing out here. We would know. We would know if they were going again. It would have slipped out. Somebody would say, oh, I'm working on the next series, or I've been contracted to do this, or it would be out there. It's not. It's very quiet. And that's what leads me to believe it's gone. It's done.
Because I'm not quite sure what they'd be waiting for when the season finale broadcast for it to be a success or not. I mean, it's not going to be a success, is it?
Well, they know it's not, and however they push it over. I mean, rolling RTD out at this time as well to push the next episode is possibly as bad as rolling Tennant out now after the fact that the British public don't like Tennant anymore. And here's RTD talking about things. He's just a writer. He's just a showrunner. The British public aren't interested because he's not in the show. We're going to be coming to more of this, so stay with us. Thank you for joining us, everybody. We've got more to do. We're going to be talking about Stephen Moffat in a minute. If Doctor Who was as popular as they think it is, Disney would be shouting it from the rooftops. That has been conspicuous by its absence as well, hasn't it? The fact that they haven't done any of that. It's as though they are...
Because when they first started with the PR, with the 60th and then Shooty's first season, they were singing from the rafters, weren't they? All this wonderful stuff to come, weren't they?
Yeah.
No gap years. Lots of Doctor Who, lots of content. No gap years.
Spin-off.
Lots of things. Yeah. Spin-off. Yeah.
And the spin-offs that we had have been ridiculous. You've got the Sea Devil things coming up, which we will judge when we see. But you've had that making of thing, which nobody's really watching apart from real diehards and Paul. You've had the these are spin-offs, by the way, because these cost money. So you've got the making of thing. You've got the podcast nonsense.
Yeah.
And what was the other thing they did? There was something else they did. These are all spin-offs. Oh, the proms thing. That's a spin-off. Yeah. The War Games, the Dalek, that's a spin-off. These are spin-offs. So we've had loads of them, but they cost money, and it's all partly come from BBC Studios and or Disney.
Yeah.
That's what they mean by spin-offs. It just doesn't mean K9 and Company, the Sarah Jane Adventures, Torchwood, whatever it's going to be. It means everything else that they've invested in and produced as part of this universe thing. And when you look at it, they've done quite a lot over the last year and a bit.
Yeah.
But who knows about it? Ridiculous. Thank you, John Steed, for your comment there. Nice to see you. And hello to Dylantic98. I hope I've said that correctly. Lovely to see you. Welcome to Who's Views. Hello all. I think after season 2, that's going to be it. It'll be it for Doctor Who, and then they'll troll out this Sea Devil thing they've just wrapped on. And then I think it's going to be it. I don't think there will be a Christmas special launching a series next 25th of December.
I think could that be Dylan TK? But I think he's got it right. I think that'll be it, definitely.
Entertainment creators say, I think, to be honest, we get more content of Doctor Who outside of Doctor Who's main show.
Yeah,
we do, and it all costs money. Those idiots, those people that present that podcast, the diversity hires, they all have to be paid peanuts, I'm sure. But
we need to do the research on that show. That's for sure.
Oh, that's bloody awful.
Yeah.
They don't do research, do they? They just watch stuff at fast speed and hope that their brains take it in.
Hugh
Janus, that's a stretch, isn't it? Yeah,
isn't it? Just I'd put more faith in a goldfish, to be honest.
If season 3 was happening, they'd be shouting about it non-stop, says Hugh Janus. I totally agree with you, mate. I totally agree with you. It'll all be there. Oh, look at this. We're starting in such and such. Oh, it's going to be wonderful. It's going to be marvelous. We've got this and this and this and this. Mark is with us as well, our Who's Views Poet Laureate. I don't see how a third season of Doctor Who can be made. They spent 100 million. The shows were crap, and now everybody is in debt or broke. Exactly. Exactly. And we're going to be coming to that again, not in this show, but in a future show. We've got more to talk to you about that.
I just wonder what Barry Letts or Philip Hinchcliffe would have done with 100
Oh,
million.
they'd hate it, I'm sure.
But no, if they'd got 100 million budget, you imagine the quality stuff they would have churned out?
Yeah.
It would just be off the scale. Yeah. And we get space babies.
Yes, and the Devil's Board.
Yeah.
Rouge.
Yeah.
Absolute nonsense. Everything with an agenda. A lot of parents in the United Kingdom saying they won't let their children watch it until they've watched it before. That's not Doctor Who. Yeah. That's not Doctor Who. That's just disgraceful. Absolutely disgraceful. Disney have cut the strings, says Lee in big letters. And Dom goes saying, do you think RTD honestly thought a gay Doctor Who was going to be a rating smash? He must have known it was going to nosedive. Of course he did. And he knew that things like Space Babies would be as well. But his audience, this mythical audience they were all going for, the ones that the reports say have to have everything at 60 miles per hour, and it has to be fast, and it has to be... That's the mythical audience they were going for. He didn't care about the big.
He didn't realise Chibnall had done enough damage to the seas before he arrived.
He knew about it, though, because he even said, no, the Timeless Children thing is fine. We're going to keep it. It's fine. Yeah. He had one job, and the only job he had to do was reboot it to bring everybody back, and he decided not to. Shame on you, RTD. Shame on you, and you get everything that you deserve when this show's axed. I really, because it's coming. I absolutely think it's coming. I wouldn't be surprised
a gay doctor wouldn't work in. Sorry, JT, but he knew a gay doctor wouldn't work in 2005 because he said the same in interviews.
Yes, he did. Wouldn't be surprised if Russell wants his season 2 the same date as season 1, 2005, as it's the 20th anniversary next year. But it doesn't matter. He doesn't matter. We've reported on the show as well. He has gone on record saying they are not doing anything to celebrate 20 years of modern Doctor Who. It's not going to happen because he thinks it's confusing to the British public, which it will be. They've just had the 50th, the 60th in living memory, and then they're going to come back and say it's 20 years old. It's not going to happen. And also because season 2 doesn't really have anything there. There is this rumor going around that they're bringing in a Christopher Eccleston villain to run through this. I reckon that's the villain that's going to be in the Christmas one. That's the rumor there. I think everybody's getting too excited about that, and they're talking about the Autons and all this nonsense. That's not a Christopher Eccleston villain. It's also a Matt Smith villain. It's also a John Pertwee villain. It's not going to be. It's not going to be. It's this thing. So more on that on this show as we know what's going to happen. But it doesn't matter. That's 20 next year. Graham is with us. Hello, Graham. Lovely warm spring evening. I'll stay in and watch Gatwa arsting about with pronouns rather than enjoying the sweet smells of spring. Said
now we'll be touching grass again because it'll be spring and summer. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Entertainment creators saying to us, I think Doctor Who needs to focus on polishing the missing episodes into animations. Totally agree. You know, I'd concentrate on the audience that you know is there that's going to get all this sort of stuff. So lots of you in the chat on this one. This is a great story for you all. You're obviously enjoying this particular one, but we haven't finished yet. Oh, I'd like to say hello to this person here. How do I say this? Sally, is it? Sally Wagenblatt? Nice to see you. Welcome to Who's Views. Lovely to see you, Sally. Hope you're well. Chibnall, yes. Ithaca, Gatwa, RTT, the gruesome foursome. Yeah.
Yeah. The four horsemen. Four horse people, really, because it's an apocalypse, isn't it? Yeah,
totally.
Very well done there.
Yeah, but thank you, Sally. It is lovely to see you. Welcome to the channel. On this sort of nonsense from him as well, what he's talking about. Doctor Who's Russell T Davies and Stephen Moffat revealed their favourite Christmas specials, according to Radio Times. I wish I'd written all of Stephen's, and if ever, I'm thanked on the street that I did. Yes, basically, you may have seen this, because what the Radio Times are doing now is they're not only printing the interviews, this one in case by Hugh Fullerton, but they've put it onto a video as well, and they're showing you. And I'm just think, what? Why? So you're expecting people to pay £4 or £5 or whatever it was for the weekly for this magazine, and yet you can go and watch it for free.
Yeah.
I mean, anyway, so this article comes from this. Now, we did talk about this last week. As I say, it's this particular Radio Times this is in. It's available right now. However, everyone's buying the other one because this is what happens with this. This is the Radio Times that covers 1 week. It comes out the same day as the big bumper edition, which covers the 2 weeks of Christmas and New Year, the one that people traditionally get. Not so much now because there's so much competition. Stay with us because we are going to be looking at that very soon here on Who's Views Headlines, so stay with us. But as was mentioned last week, it included these pictures. Ta-da! There they are. And this one. Remember we were talking about this last week, guys, weren't we?
Yeah, I remember that, yeah.
So the article looks like this. This is it. This is it here. 2 Time Lords are leaping. Remember, they don't want to do this. They have to, though, because it's publicity.
Yeah, someone's obviously twisting their arms to do this. I think the word's money, isn't it? Yeah. So.
Yeah.
What is this? I noticed in this Tom Baker thing about Tom Baker's Doctor being 50 years since he got the job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's basically it. This is it.
Yeah.
If you have seen this on the Tube of Who, this interview, this is exactly what they print in those 2 pages. It's that interview. See, and how grating are those 2 in that interview? Have you guys seen this?
I've seen bits of it. Yeah.
I've seen bits as well. RTD. It wouldn't be a sad day if he lost the ability to speak for the rest of his life. And Moffat, I just find a smug, arrogant, pompous, self-opinionated git that believes his own propaganda. I genuinely don't like the guy. He stayed over long when he was showrunner in the first place. Hate that term too, like we all do.
Yep.
But he stayed way too long, and he started the horrible slide. The horrible slide to gender swapping and pronoun using and let's bash the males. He brought in a companion that was very, very, very physically violent to the Doctor, with Clara smacking round the face or threatening to smack until so hard you'll regenerate. That was never good for television. All that rot set in with Moffat, and Chibnall just picked it up and ran with it. And RTD never changed it.
Or tried to run and tripped badly.
He did the biggest pratfall of the lot, didn't he? And he never really got up. His face was in the dirt right from the start.
If you've seen this interview, you'll know exactly what we're going to be talking about here, because it's a very I've watched it obviously for this show. I watched it, I took the notes, then I went along dutifully, as I always do for just you Who viewers, to my local Tesco coffee shop, where I got this and I read it and thought, this is very strangely familiar. So I sat through this thing and then I read it just for you, Who viewers. You are very welcome. Absolutely. But there was this particular point in this. I mean, goodness me, look at this. Christmas is a time for storytellers. Once that might have meant sharing festive tales by a roaring fire. But as time went on, the flickering flames have been replaced by the light of the television, illuminating our living rooms as the nights grow dark and cold outside. And two men who know more than most about on-screen Christmas storytelling are Doctor Who writers RTD and Moffat. Between them, they've sent their time-travelling hero on 15 festive adventures that have taken him from present-day council estates to Victorian London via the singing towers of Darillium and a flying Titanic. Thank you. In this year's special, Joy to the World, written by Moffat at the request of current series boss Davies, the Time Lord checks into a hotel for Christmas, but in typical Who style, it's no ordinary mini break. Instead, he finds himself in a time hotel that allows him to visit every December the 25th in history. And in one of the rooms, there's a mysterious suitcase held by a woman played by Bridgerton's Nicola Coughlin, who might just be the key to saving the world. Now, at this point, before we go to the next bit, I also want you to remember that last week we covered that they were saying that the answer to a question would be answered here. And what's the reckoning? That they go back to the original Christmas day.
I bet they do.
Day.
Yeah.
And they try and do something there just to upset white Christians.
And I bet the Doctor is completely helpless, doesn't do anything, and she saves the day, as it said in the article, and the Doctor will step back and do nothing, and she'll drive the narrative. Yeah.
He'll cry.
He'll cry.
It's one of these things that Moffat and RTD just wouldn't be able to help themselves. There was also a line somewhere before where one of the doctors under Moffat or RTD said something along the lines is that he was the innkeeper who said we're full.
Yeah.
Do you remember that? Do you remember that?
Vaguely, yeah.
I remember my eyes rolling at the time going, no, you just had to, didn't you? You just had to. Stop it. Anyway, this thing in the Radio Times carried on. But what are Davies and Moffat's secrets to telling a great Yuletide yarn? And what do they get up to at Christmas themselves? In RTD's exclusive fireside chat, they reveal all. And are you sitting comfortably? Then they'll begin. And that's where it ties in, obviously, to the video and the thing on the video and the interview. I can't get over it. It was exactly the same thing. And that I sat through that video and then went ahead and then read the thing in Radio Times and thought, hang on a minute. So there were bits and pieces in here where they're going on about, do you remember when David Tennant was an unknown? What's Christmas about? Going back to that headline that RTD used as well. I wish I'd written all of your Christmas episodes, he says to Moffat. And for anyone who thanked me on the street, I did. I've lost count of how many times I've got, I love your Weeping Angels. I know, aren't I brilliant, he says. I love all your specials, but I think 2010 episode of Christmas Carol is a majestic piece of work for that moment of Michael Gambon realizing that he's seeing his future self. Never mind Doctor Who, never mind fantasy, never mind the original Christmas Carol. That's an absolutely astonishing piece of drama, full stop. Moffat says, I think my favorite was your first one, The Christmas Invasion. It was the moment in which you realize, no, it's back for good. The regeneration has worked, and it was not a guarantee back then at all. Yes, remember when David Tennant was unknown, says RTD. What a world. Yeah, extremely confident at this point, aren't they? Very, very confident. Are they not looking at the viewing figures? Are they not looking at people like us? Are they not looking at what fandom's saying, everybody?
They're trying to put a brave face on it, don't you think? They're trying to keep this facade of it's okay, it's fine, you know.
I think it's all spin. I really do. I think it's spin. Contractually, they will have to be positive about the absolute horse crap they're serving up. They have to be positive about it.
We'll come to you all in the chat in a minute. There's a couple of other things I need to go through on this as well. I was halfway through writing, says Stephen Moffat, when you told me Ruby wasn't in it. And I was like, are you serious? So halfway through writing the Christmas script, and then Russell phones and says, Ruby's not into it. Read into that whatever you want to. RTD, did I not tell you straight away? Oh my gosh. Wow. I remember we had very long conversations about why doesn't he go to unit for help? Why doesn't he phone up David Tennant, says Stephen Moffat. RTD, oh, why doesn't he go back to the TARDIS? That's always the question. By 1964, Terry Nation and girders falling in front of the TARDIS to stop them getting in. Remember, I sent a long email, says Stephen Moffat, to you all about why the Doctor doesn't use the TARDIS in this episode. The broad theory is this will never get into Radio Times. If the Doctor goes back to the TARDIS, the only world he can travel to is the one that is the result of his departure. In other words, Pyramids of Mars. If we leave now, that's the future. RTD, and he kind of refers to that in dialogue this time, doesn't he? Moffat, yes, he says, I will re-engage with a causal nexus, which I think will explain everything on Christmas Day. Over your
good.
turkey, digest that, says RTD.
If they explain it in the episode, I'll be very surprised. As I said before, it'll be explained on the spin-off behind the scenes show. This is what happened. The bits you don't understand, here it is explained to you. You know?
Yeah.
I just can't understand that. I think it's absolutely nonsense, isn't it? Because if they're going to do that sort of stuff, get it done in the show. I mean, you can go and look at this interview. I don't want to go on about it too much because it's just ridiculous. Moffat does confirm in this as well that he is not writing for the series next year, i.e. Series 2. He jokes he was sacked by RTD on that one as well. Not going to be doing that. They do talk about what they're going to be doing on their own Christmas days, which, of course, nobody's interested in. Here's that bit here. Moffat, I'm not writing for the series next year, was sacked. RTD says for inappropriate behavior, which considering the context of some of the stuff that's been going on with their versions of the show, I think that's pretty thick. It was humiliating, says Stephen Moffat, RTD, and it was very public. Blah, blah, blah. They're trying to be funny, and it just doesn't come across as funny.
In the light of the current BBC crisis, it seems a bit crass, doesn't it, to be honest? But
The Tom Baker exclusive, in answer to your question there, Paul, it's 50 years since Tom Baker became the fourth Doctor, and for many fans, he will forever be the ultimate Time Lord. Radio Times is celebrating with a new digital bookazine, plundering our archive for exclusive interviews and photos from his time in Doctor Who and beyond, available to download on the 20th of December. RadioTimes.com, that sounds quite interesting, dealing with proper Doctor Who. So RadioTimes.com, it's a Tom Baker exclusive. It's a bookazine for you online. There you go, everybody. That's the only interesting bit on that one. More spin than a Christmas tree, says Dalek Eye.
Yeah, and then some. Yeah,
but it does seem pretty. As Paul Richards is saying, these showrunners are so up themselves. It's sickening. Is anyone excited by hearing stuff like that, though, in the chat? Because I'm certainly not.
Like we said before, long of the days gone by that we had producers that used to stay behind the scenes and not perform themselves.
Yeah,
I'd rather be interested in an actor's point of view in this, like behind the scenes thing or something like that, rather than the showrunners, because they should be really a kind of a faceless name, shouldn't they? To be honest.
Do you remember when you watched the Who's Doctor Who documentary? That fantastic thing that they put on.
Yeah.
And that was an eye opener, wasn't it, for so many things? All those old clips that we saw for the first time and things like that. But when they interview people like. Or when they showed that room with Graham Williams and Robert Holmes and Terrence Dicks and everything, and you're there like thinking, who are they?
Yeah.
Yes.
And you didn't realise they are absolute giants in the history of Doctor Who. They were giants then, you know, and you're there going, oh, who are they? Because they were as they should be and as they would probably want to be in the background, you know, and whereas RTD, if he could get on camera, he would be, I'm sure.
Oh, and it's always there because it's publicity. It's publicity. I mean, you know, the things like the Who's Doctor Who documentary, we can see now that it's staged. It is staged. Yeah. And that's fine. But back then, of course, it was on as an adult time. It wasn't for us kids. It was on in the evening. It was part of a very, very serious documentary series for the BBC, as the BBC was back then. It was a prestigious show to get a show about. So they must have been chuffed. But the adults would have found this very interesting. All these people that were tuning into those shows, they would have been saying, oh, that's a producer, that's a director, that's a writer, that's a script editor. Oh, that's wonderful. Yeah, let's see how they work. It was a totally different time, totally different audience, you know?
Well, it was, and what was interesting for fans as well, seeing rehearsals for Tales of Wen Chiang, stuff like that, which was a lovely little kind of insight into how production worked and that kind of thing. But it's been done so to death now, it's become really dull and boring. You know what I mean?
A lot of our chat, whoever's in the chat are saying about this. Hello to James Fumuk, who's saying, I couldn't care less about what RTD and Moffat do for Christmas. I can see people, the amount of people who are still getting the Radio Times, I could see them turning it over, to be honest, because who are they? Yeah. Who cares? Yeah. And only people like us have looked at it, and I didn't buy it. I just want to hasten that. It went back on the shelf after my coffee. Sally is back with us saying, David Tennant has been overused so much now, it's become very tiring. And also, are you in the UK, Sally? With that surname, I'm suggesting possibly not, but I could be wrong. He's not popular in the UK anymore. He really isn't. He's lost a lot of respect in the UK over the last year. Oh, yes, he has. Komodo is saying to us, they can sit in the safe branches and eat the fruit of Christianity, but poison the roots of the tree. What else we got here? I can just see Fruity Gatwa bursting into the stable in Bethlehem and asking Mary if she wants a cheese toastie and a pumpkin latte. Oh.
Oh, yeah.
Oh. It wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good point, Domgo. It's a horrifying point.
That'll be the pre-title sequence section, I'd imagine. Yeah, just to
get
the
pre-titles we've seen. Apparently, Moffat has said in this that the pre-title is that little bit of a clip they showed ages ago where Joy gets out the taxi.
Oh, right, was it?
Right, okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's going to grab the viewers, isn't it? Lovely, yeah.
They'll turn up in the stable, but we'll change it, and Gatwa will be there with two others, and it'll be the three queens instead of the three kings.
Again, wouldn't surprise me. Let's see where they shoehorn all that in. We will be coming to the Wokeometer as part of this show in our review. A Christmas Carol for RTD to see what he has done, says John Steed. And Marine Boy 1966 says, Ever, lovely to see you. What does RTD get up to at Christmas? By the looks of him, he scoffs nothing but goose grease and polished off bottles of Bailey's. Next question. Scathing, I say. Graham, what are you saying? They can bleat about it as much as they like. The facts are hardly anyone gives a toss. And even loyal fans like us here have given up. It's over. No one cares.
Yeah, and that's a tragedy, isn't it? That we don't care anymore, isn't it?
We don't care. We're only watching it to talk about it on this show to send it up, basically, because I think there's going to be a lot to talk about. And back to Mark. Mark, right, forget season 2. Surely Christmas 2025 would have been well into pre-production by now if it was happening. Yes, that's what I'm saying. You know, it would all be at least booked in. At least booked in. So they would have to have, if they're going to have a Christmas episode for 2025, it will have to be filmed for post-production, CGI, music, editing, all the stuff we know that has to go into it, all the work that has to go into it. They have to get it in the can by summer at least for a fast turnaround. The Runaway Bride was filmed in the summer, wasn't it? Of 2005? No, 2006, wasn't it? Is that right? Yeah, 2006. It filmed in the sun, as you can see on screen. It's beautiful. But then it was a quick turnaround. And also, they went straight into filming Series 3 because Series 3 was filming while it was on, wasn't it? It was coming to the end of its shoot because they used to do 9 months back then. Oh, it's a headache. All this nonsense, trying to remember. Paul Rose is saying to us, if there is a season 3, maybe next year's special will be trying to get people to eat vegan meat-free burgers instead of turkeys to save the world. Avoid
they tried it on the Two Doctors, didn't they? Or after the Two Doctors in Revelation. So
avoid that plant-free stuff. I mean, honest to God, without going into graphics, I was in a certain room of my house for 2 days after a packet of that. Honest to God, avoid. And I'm vegetarian. Couldn't believe it. Ugh, never again. Avoid it. Thank you, Paul. Richard Brooks is saying to us, the holiday special 2025 will feature talking turkeys and the song and dance out by Junks Muldoon.
The turkeys are already on screen.
Yeah, I've seen. I can see the script for that one already. Yeah. Sounds plausible.
We've got both blowing smoke up each other's backsides. You're wonderful. No, you're wonderful, says Julianne. Oh, it's all full of that, isn't it? It really is. And James Fuckmuck, what other TV show has the writers touted this much as celebrity? Egos ruin projects. Well, we've seen that for years now in Doctor Who. But things have been full of them. This is what we're dealing with today. You know, where's Gatwa? Asked Lee. Why isn't he promoting Doctor Who? Well, he's in that show, isn't he? He's in their version, the queer version of The Importance of Being Earnest.
Yeah.
So he's working, apparently.
He's not. He only appears in the alternate days on the run, though, doesn't he?
Does he?
No, I'm taking the piss. Yeah.
All right. I see, because of Doctor Who. Very good. Lex is saying, very staged, fake and plastic video interview from Radio Times. And Marjorie also saying, I couldn't care less about these two numpties. Doctor Who is a dead horse.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the majority of us here are on the same page. Yes, I'm in the UK system. Well, you know what's happening then, don't you? I mean, I've never seen anything like it. For people to turn so much on these people, and the way they're turning as well is, yes, you get all the sort of comments coming out on the social media platforms, but it's like, switch off. It's the easiest thing to do. Yeah. And they certainly did through the 3 David Tennant specials after that first one with the Star Beast. They didn't come back for 2, they didn't come back for 3, and they didn't come back for Shooty's first series.
Nope.
You know, such a shame, isn't it? From being right up there to right down here, such a shame.
I think that comment that we had earlier on, I can't remember who made it, apologies to whoever it was, but when they said 5.5 million for the Christmas episode, I can't remember the last time that an episode got 5.5 million on the overnights. It must have been back in Capaldi's time, because I don't think Whittaker got that at all. Maybe it was her first episode.
Our first one got really high ratings, then it went like that. But that was a
from our first one. If you think about it, to this very day, it's gone down every episode.
Yeah.
At least, and we know that from our analytics. Sheila B saying Shooty is twerking, and Stephen Braddock is saying everything is fine. Oh look, iceberg dead ahead.
Yeah.
Bill is saying to us, listen, Doctor Who is not a dead horse. The present version is dead. We still have the best part of 57 years to enjoy. I'd say 26, personally. I'm not too bothered about the reboot. I can leave that quite happy. Even though I've got it all here, I can leave it. Because, unfortunately, from Rose onwards, it's all downhill. Not downhill. All roads lead to Whittaker and Gatwa, if you're that way inclined. I will go up to about Capaldi, but I'm not really... I'm at this point now, Bill, where I can't look at anything to do with RTD and Moffat and say that's Doctor Who, because there were too many misses more than hits.
Yeah,
for me. So that's just me. But thanks, Bill. You're right. I've 26 years of superior time travel. And where are the AAI figures? Says Richard Brooks. If they were even remotely positive, they would have been released and spun. Their continued absence speaks volumes. I'd forgotten all about them.
They're down the back of RTD's sofa, I think, somewhere. Yeah.
It must be bad.
Yeah.
Because we usually hear about them, don't we?
Yeah.
And hello to Gareth Dowson. Nice to see you, Gareth. Thanks for joining us. If Let's and Dicks had a massive budget, the serials would have been shorter and tighter. Their budget always dictated the serial lengths. Well, that's because they knew what they were doing. Yeah. Let's face it. People back in the BBC, they were trained to be producers, trained to be directors, brought in to be script editors, and then they went on to train. And the big thing about the BBC is don't spend a penny over, otherwise you're going to get kicked, because that's the public's money. Now they don't care, because it's not really. I would love to know in the BBC these days, Gareth, where the public money goes to and why they need it when everything's farmed out to independents and it's all partnerships. Thank you to this for Paul, the lovely Paul Thomas Ashworth. Thank you for your super chat saying, JT, your shows are more entertaining than the real show. I did watch the Christmas special earlier with Michelle Ryan as Lady Christina, and I loved it. That was an Easter special.
Yeah, that was Planet of the Dead. Yes.
Written by Gareth Roberts. And what a week he's had. Good for you, Gareth, for saying truth. For saying truth, as you will know. And I know he drops in every now and then, but good for you, Gareth.
I quite like that Easter special. I quite like the fly creatures. They're quite interesting.
Yeah, it was all right, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was an entertaining one. I remember being very entertained for Christmas. And I also remember thinking at the end of that, where you got that whole twist there with that lovely lady whose name's for... Oh, what was her name? The lovely lady with the premonition. And the way she delivered it was just spot on, brilliant. What's her name?
Yeah, I can't remember her name, but I know the character you mean. Yeah.
Oh, she's a lovely actress. She's quite funny. I've seen her in
Chops
some
and Gravy. I remember that line. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm so sorry. I cannot remember my.
I think she was in Teachers, wasn't she, for a long time?
She was. That's right. Yeah.
She's quite comic. Oh. Yeah. Anyway, but thank you, Paul Thomas Ashworth, PTA. Thank you so much for your super chat and saying for that. I'm glad you're entertained, and I'm glad you're all with us. It wouldn't be the same without you all, really, would it? It would just be three idiots talking to ourselves here. But there we go.
Three bald men.
Yeah. Well, you'd have to shave your hair, wouldn't you?
Yeah. But can we start a sponsored shave his head thing for the channel? That'd be quite good.
What have we got here?
Not the week, but yeah. I identify as bald.
There you go, and you can't stop him. Pikehead wanted with us saying, "Hi, isn't it a shame Doctor Who's come to this? It's scandalous, really, isn't it? Totally, Pikehead. It really, really is, isn't it? It's heartbreaking in a sense, and that's one of the reasons I want it off the air, because I find it embarrassing, Pikehead, and I think it's shocking, and I think it's detrimental to the classic, the brilliant stuff that's gone beforehand, and I just can't be done with this. Dylan is still with us saying, was her name Carmen in Planet of the Dead? I think it was.
That's the character, yeah. The actress's name escapes us, I think, yeah.
Yeah, I can't remember the actress's name, but she's lovely. I'm sure she was in I can't remember. I'm getting old people.
Ellen Thomas.
What?
Ellen Thomas, it says here.
Oh, that doesn't ring a bell. That's not who I'm thinking of. I can see her face very clearly. Is that her name?
Yeah. Ellen Thomas from Sierra Leone. Known as Liz Webb in Teachers.
Oh,
Claudette Hubbard in EastEnders.
That's it. Yes.
Yeah.
She was very good. She's a very good actor. Yeah.
And I've seen her in some comedies. And yeah, lovely touch. But yeah. We'll do Planet of the Dead as a review at some point as well, maybe at Easter. 4.73 million for last year's Xmas overnight, says Julianne, reminding us of what they were for the overnights last year. Let's see what it makes up this year as well.
Now it's up to 17, if you believe the facts.
Billion. We also got this from Lex. She was in BBC Rev. That's the one. Thank you. I saw that because some of that was quite funny, and I saw that on, I think it was Netflix or something. So thank you, Lex. That's the one there as well. Well, this is all the start now, isn't it? We're right in the middle of all this hype for Joy to the World. They are really pushing it here. We've had the showrunners out. We've had Nicola Coughlin out. There's lots more that we're going to be talking about. But that wasn't the only trailer. That's not the only trailer that's out there at the moment. Is it, panel? Is it, Who viewers? Because have you seen the other one? Oh, yes. If you haven't, then you've missed a treat, because it's very, very exciting stuff. We are, of course, talking about the trailer from AL Trailer Home here on the Tube of Who. This is another example of what we were talking about before about AI. Now, Ian, you found this at the beginning of the week, and you sounded this over to me, didn't you? And I watched it, and I laughed. Tell us about this one.
Yeah, I just stumbled across it. You know, when you're having a lunch break and you're doing a little bit of surfing just to break the monotony, or just to lighten the load a bit, and came across that and thought, what on earth is this? And it was just hilarious. I was laughing all the way through it. It was so bizarre, so unexpected, but at the same time so absolutely on the money.
Yeah,
It was wonderful, and I would strongly recommend, if we can post the link, I would strongly recommend everybody watches it if you haven't already. I know.
Well, actually, having said that,
he had, but yeah,
I think a lot of people have, because John Steed is just saying what I've actually looked at here as well before the show, because he's saying this trailer has had more views than series 1. You're not far off it, because I did look before the show. I wrote down actually how many it's had, and I've lost it now, as I always do. But it was absolutely hilarious. It's huge amounts. It's got. I would love the views that we get here, Who views for all. Lex is also saying, I've seen bits of it, not watched all of it yet, but I've taken some. I hope they don't mind, but I just thought it was so funny, and we had to talk about it in this show as well. I've taken some screen grabs, because as far as I'm concerned, the voiceover is spot on. So let's see, Ian, if you can tell us the story from this. This is the beginning of it, is it, where it introduces the show?
Yeah, as I say, I saw it the once in a lunch break and sent it to you, and I haven't revisited it. So my memory is my memory is more of just laughing far more than I should have been as it was on.
It's done far. If you haven't seen it yet, everybody, it's so far and cheap. I mean, it also goes on about this, for example, is Amy Pond.
Yeah.
And it says something along the lines of, from the show that brought you characters such as Amy Pond, and then Rose. We now bring you the Doctor's latest companion, something along like this.
Now that was a little cruel, wasn't it? To be fair,
This is a little cruel.
Yes,
it was never a taxi like that. It was a taxi like that in Christmas Invasion, not in.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean for the? Yeah, sorry.
I mean, this is somebody whose pronouns are obviously Sue, nah, me.
Yeah.
See what I did there? It also went on with the fact that it really did get at, not content with one doctor, you get several. And boy, was he crying. They were basically taking the P big time, aren't they, Who viewers, with this trailer? I'm saying I'm so impressed that this is done. I mean, this looks like is this a real actor? Is this what they've done here? Because he also appears on this part here.
It's incredible use of AI, isn't it? And the thing is, every shot and dig and barb hits absolute bullseye.
It does. It's so true.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is obviously someone that's watching either Doctor Who as a fan or as a critic or as a society critic or a media something, and put this together. And it's obviously taken them a bit of time and imagination. And also, as I say, it's spot on. It's absolutely truthful about where the series is today. And then it comes to the bit where they are apologizing tongue in cheek to this person. Yes, the head of DEI makes an appearance. And boy, is she, he, it, they, them not happy. And this bit made me really laugh. I thought, this is great. They've got it down pat here. Absolutely fantastic, because I'm sure that's what they look like.
You can imagine that they do, can't you?
Yes.
You really can. Yeah.
They have to be DEI before they get the job as well. That's how it works,
Yeah. Peter Venkman is saying, look, I saw that, loved it. Lee Smith is saying big girls are more cuddly. Yeah, nothing against big girls at all, but it was just the way in the context. It's funny. It is funny there. And Nicola Coughlin, she's gorgeous, isn't she? She is. So it is cruel, but it's funny in a way, and that's the sort of humor that we're not allowed to do anymore. There will be various people going, "Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god," but you have to see the context of it. Margie is also saying that. Oh my god. Legion of James is saying, "Oh, it's brilliant." It is. I would recommend Lee go and have a look at it. It is very, very funny. Yeah. What's it called? Said Nibbles. I can't remember, but if Garbage has the link, if you can pop it in there, you can go and look at it after the show. Otherwise, let us know. We'll be posting it on our Facebook page as well. Stephen Braddock is saying must watch it, and John Steed saying I love it. Legion of James has put a link into it. Thank you, Legion of James. Thank you. Right. Animals. This is very true. I saw this week as well, Bill. Animals use bright colours as a warning. The head of DEI will have brightly coloured hair for the same reason. Yeah, it's true. I saw that thing on social media the other day where it said that. Look at all these animals using bright colours as a warning. And then it got onto all these TQ cult lot with all their bright hair. And I thought, yes, that's something else.
It generally means that they're poisonous. And I think that fits.
That makes perfect sense. Yes.
With the DEI lot, they are poisonous.
Yeah.
Aren't they?
Yeah. Julianne Goodwin is saying it's by the Brainwashed Broadcasting Corporation at the beginning. Yes. Again.
Yeah.
Bang on the money.
Prove them wrong, BBC. Yeah. Prove them wrong, because the majority of Britain agrees with it. So the only thing is, says John Steed, missing is RTD and Moff and Chibnall. There were plenty about them in the day as well. There's some good stuff there.
I can imagine something else could probably follow on from this one.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but it's just, if it's been received as well as it has been, if it's been received as well as it has been, you don't just leave it there, do you? You've got so much material to work off. I mean,
we might get a trailer, a spoof trailer of season 2 when we get the trailer for that. So that'd be interesting.
Possibly, yeah.
What gems that may have, that'd be lovely. Yeah.
And this will drive RTD insane.
Yeah, hopefully.
He will hate it, especially because it's proving more popular than his stuff. But he will hate it with a passion, which makes it even better, really.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see if the BBC come after those people there as well. But I say well done to them, because it was a laugh and I needed it. And we're not allowed to laugh much these days, are we, really, about stuff like this? It was very tongue-in-cheek, and that's the sort of humour I quite like as well, because it was taking the P out of this stuff, because we all know it's true, even those people that are making it. And if you don't want to be ridiculed in that manner, give over and just give us Doctor Who back. Take a couple of years off and go and think about it, for heaven's sake.
If they're so right in everything they're doing, and they think they are, then any kind of parody they can't be bothered about because it won't harm them because they're right on everything that they do. If it gets them going, then they know themselves that they're on a sticky wicket.
Yeah. Sally's saying to us, I hope they'll do another one after the Christmas episode. I'm sure they will. I mean, it's Ian's saying there. And Georgie Boy said, I really think it will get more views than the Christmas special. That was the best Doctor Who I've seen in ages, and it made an older man happy, said John Steed. And Legion of James saying to us, I'm just living for the day Daryl Joyce does the missing stories. Aren't we all? Aren't we all? Well, listen, on that very happy note, I'm going to say thank you for joining us this evening here on Headlines on Who's Views. Yes, your big Sunday show. Hope you enjoyed tonight. Thank you so much, everybody, for watching us. Don't forget to please give us a like and subscribe to the channel. And if you have already subscribed to the channel, please make sure you are still subscribed to us. We are going to be back with Headlines sooner than you think. So stay tuned, as an old friend of mine used to say, because we're going to be back with more Joy to the World. To Third Doctor Ian and Paul, again, as usual, thank you, fellas. Great show.
Thank you.
Thank you. Enjoyed it very much.
Yeah, it was a great one there. Lots of conversation, as usual. We're going to be back for more conversation as we look towards the next episode and beyond of Doctor Who. Stay with us here on Who's Views. Until we're back, sooner than you think. Have a great Monday, everybody. See you soon. Ciao, everyone.
Bye, everyone. Bye-bye. Good night.
Thank you. Good night.
Bye.